Chapter 1980 Remuneration. The two alchemists before and even the last Fan Hong were snatched away by Zhou Ningxi secretly, but now this woman came to win over Yang Kai in front of her. She simply didn't take herself seriously. Kong Saran was furious. Why do shopkeeper Kong get angry? Zhou Ningxi is not afraid of him at all. After all, both of them are warriors of the Void King's third layer realm, and their source power has already been fully transformed. It's just that they have no chance to advance to the Daoyuan realm. She pursed her lips and smiled coquettishly. I just said a few words to Pill Master Yang, it doesn't bother you. Kong Saran had a murderous look on his face, but he didn't want to make a real move, so he could only hold back his anger in his stomach, feeling that his heart was burning. Seeing this situation, Zhou Ningxi turned her beautiful eyes to Yang Kai again, and said, Pill Master Yang, what do you think of my proposal just now? As for the remuneration, you don't have to worry, just follow the double calculation given by shopkeeper Kong, how about it? Quote. Hearing this, Kong Saran's face became even more livid. The three alchemists in the Spirit Pill workshop were all lured by profit, and turned to the Pill Pavilion. He didn't know Yang Kai deeply, and he didn't have much friendship with Yang Kai, so he didn't know what Yang Kai's attitude was. Looking at Yang Kai anxiously, Kong Saran's heart sank to the bottom. Yang Kai actually had an expression of emotion on his face, and smiled all over his face. Is there such a good thing? Zhou Ningxi smiled more and more happily, nodded and said, of course, if Pill Master Yang doesn't believe you, you can ask Pill Master Fan. In addition to the due remuneration, I will also arrange 4 beautiful maid servants to take care of Pill Master Yang your daily life. A man spends his whole life chasing fame and fortune for nothing more than power and wealth. As an experienced woman, Zhou Ningxi naturally knows what these men are thinking, so she can also prescribe the right medicine and successfully kill several alchemists. Poach it from Kong Saran. She believes that as long as Yang Kai is not stupid, he should make a wise choice. Treasurer Zhou's proposal really moved me. Yang Kai's eyes rolled around those beautiful maid-servants. Seeing his appearance, Fan Hong couldn't help sneering, with contempt in his eyes, as if he despised Yang Kai's character, but after thinking about it, he didn't seem to have the qualifications and suddenly became a little embarrassing. Pill Master Yang, you. Kong Saran looked at Yang Kai with despondency and despair. Thousands of words came to his lips, but in the end they only turned into a helpless sigh. Although he just signed the soul contract with Yang Kai just now, it was only a contract that Dianfeng could not disclose. Yang Kai hasn't gotten the pill formula from him yet, so the soul deed cannot be used at all. Kong Saran was annoyed for a while. If he had known this earlier, he would have written all kinds of promises in the contract. It's too late to regret now. Zhou Ningxi chuckled. Her beautiful eyes were excited, as if she had seen the day when the Spirit Pill workshop closed down, and the day when she was valued by the upper echelon of the Chamber of Commerce. As long as she can hit the Spirit Pill workshop severely, or even close it down, then she will have a chance to be favored by the higher-ups, and she may be transferred from a small place like Fenggalan City to a bigger city to preside over the business of the Chamber of Commerce. Just when she wanted to strike while the iron was hot to finalize the matter, she saw Yang Kai's embarrassed face and said, it's a pity. What a pity, Zhou Ningxi frowned. It's a pity that Yang only signed the soul deed with shopkeeper Kong just now. So even if he wants to, I'm afraid he won't be able to help shopkeeper Zhou. Yang Kai sighed with regret, full of frustration. Kong Saran was startled, then looked at Yang Kai overjoyed. He didn't believe that Yang Kai didn't know what was restricted by the soul deed. Yang Kai could say that now. It meant that he didn't intend to go to Pill Artifact Pavilion. How could he not be surprised? The excited eyes looked at Yang Kai, full of gratitude. After all, if Yang Kai really left, what else could he do other than spit on Yang Kai for breaking his promise? At that time, there will be no alchemists in the Spirit Pill workshop, and it will not be far from closing down. However, Yang Kai's attitude became the straw for him to save his life. In an instant, his evaluation of Yang Kai in his heart changed 180 degrees, and even Yang Kai's figure suddenly changed. Grow up. The deed of soul. Zhou Ningxi was also startled. The shopkeeper Kong is so generous that he even used the precious deed of soul. Kong Saran snorted coldly. I have to do it as a last resort. Treasurer Zhou, you can see that this is feasible. Yang Kai looked at Zhou Ningxi with a smile. I will refine alchemy for shopkeeper Kong, and at the same time I will refine alchemy for you in the Pill Artifact Pavilion. I only need half of the benefits you promised before. How about it? Go and die. Zhou Ning glared at Yang Kai unceremoniously. After learning that Yang Kai signed the soul contract with Kong Saran, she subconsciously felt that it was impossible for her to poach Yang Kai, so she didn't have any perfunctory intentions before, and turned to swearing at each other. Since you can't dig it out, why are you being polite to him? This woman turned her face so fast that Yang Kai was also stunned. Zhou Ningxi also has no intention of entangled with Yang Kai, anyway, her purpose of coming to Spirit Pill Workshop this time has been achieved, she sneered and said, Treasurer Kong, now you only have one alchemist left, I want to see you how long can the Spirit Pill Workshop last. Let's go. While speaking, he waved his hand and led the beautiful maid-servants towards the opposite street. Fan Hong didn't want to stay here long ago and was looked down upon by others, so he hurriedly followed after hearing this. The turmoil subsided, but Kong Saran's brows were congealed into Sichuan characters. The predicament of the Spirit Pill Workshop has not been improved. Originally, Yang Kai came, and with Fan Hong, there were two alchemists sitting in the workshop, which relieved Kong Saran a little, and he was confident to hold on for 2 months, waiting for the headquarters to dispatch the alchemist arrived. But what he really didn't expect was that he invited Yang Kai and left Fan Hong. The situation has not changed at all. The only thing he can expect now is that Yang Kai's alchemy level is better than Fan Hong's, but if you think about it carefully, this is somewhat unlikely. After all, Yang Kai already has a Void King 3-layer cultivation base, and he himself, as I said, alchemy is only used as a means of making money, and not too much energy is invested. Such an alchemist must only regard alchemy as a side job, and it is already good to be able to refine the Void King grade spirit pill by chance. How can Kong Saran expect Yang Kai to be so powerful? However, what Yang Kai did before made Kong Saran feel good about him. At least, Yang Kai is really a trustworthy person. Back in the wing room again, Kong Saran solemnly clasped his fists and said, Pill Master Yang, thank you for today's matter. If it weren't for you, the face of Ling Danfeng and Lao Ji would definitely be ruined. Yang Kai waved his hand slightly and said, the shopkeeper Kong is serious, and Yang didn't do anything. Kong Saran smiled, and said, the old man is actually a bit puzzled. Since shopkeeper Zhou has offered such a rich offer, why did Pill Master Yang? Well, I went to the Pill Artifact Pavilion 3 days ago, and I wanted to buy pill recipes from them, but I was kicked out by the store's clerk without any politeness. Just because of this, Kong Saran opened his mouth wide. Then shopkeeper Kong thought it was because of it. Yang Kai chuckled. The old man understands. Then let's continue to talk about the issue of remuneration. That's it, our Spirit Pill Workshop can provide 2 payment methods, one is monthly salary, and the Spirit Pill Workshop will give you a certain amount of source crystals on a monthly basis. Of course, this monthly salary can be doubled for you. Perhaps it was because of Yang Kai's decision to stay and help him, or perhaps because of Zhou Ningxi's previous reward. Kong Saran was not stingy on this issue, and readily expressed that he could give double rewards. The other one is a commission. Our Spirit Pill Workshop is responsible for providing you with various medicinal materials, and Pill Master Yang is responsible for refining them. After the refined pills are sold, you and the Pill Workshop will draw a percentage. I don't know what Pill Master Yang means. The second one, Yang Kai replied without thinking. Kong Saran couldn't help being startled. He originally thought that Yang Kai would choose the first method. After all, only those capable alchemists would choose the second method, because if the distribution is based on the commission, the more work you get, the more alchemy you can refine. The alchemist can get more rewards naturally. When he thought about it, Yang Kai was probably a half-baked alchemist. Choosing the first way would naturally protect his own interests to the greatest extent, but he chose the second way, which surprised Kong Saran. Could it be that alchemist Yang is still a real alchemy expert who doesn't show his face? Kong Saran's heart shook. To be cautious, he still asked, Pill Master Yang no longer think about it. The relationship between Pill Master Fan who left before and Danfeng is the first way to pay the reward. No need. Yang Kai shook his head. Then, all right, since it was someone else's choice, Kong Saran didn't have much to say. Soon, the two also finalized the share ratio. Originally, the ratio between the alchemist and the alchemist was 3 to 7 points, the alchemist 3, and the alchemist 7. After all the materials were sold by the alchemist, and the alchemist was only responsible for refining, and the alchemist had to pay more. Bearing the loss of some medicinal materials, it is very fair for the alchemist to get 30% of the income. But Kong Saran took the initiative to share with Yang Kai. Yang Kai naturally had no reason to refuse. After everything was agreed, Kong Saran said, then we have reached an agreement. Pill Master Yang, do you need to go back and rest for a few days? Yang Kai looked at him with a smile and said, in the current situation of Dianfeng, do you have time for me to rest? It's not too late. Let's start now. Shopkeeper Kong will take the pill formula on the catalog for me first. I will understand in 2 days. We began to refine the panacea. Don't be in a hurry. Sharpening a knife is not a mistake in chopping firewood. Kong Saran said while taking out the various pills that he had prepared from his space ring, and handed them to Yang Kai. Alchemist Yang, please follow me to the alchemy room. Dianfeng has its own alchemy room, which is equipped with a Lihuo formation, which can extract the firepower from the ground for alchemists to use. It is just a few dozen feet below the shop, and it was originally used by 3 alchemists. Now this place has become Yang Kai's territory. To be continued, this text is provided by the Breaking Dawn Update group at. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to read. Chapter 1981 Genjidan. Entering inside, Yang Kai immediately felt a scorching force rushing towards him. Pill Master Yang is here to comprehend the mysteries of those alchemy recipes. Don't worry about alchemy, wait until you are ready. Kong Saran was afraid that Yang Kai's preparations were not thorough, so he spoke again. Yang Kai nodded, turned back and said, by the way, Shopkeeper Kong, what kind of panacea is urgently needed by your workshop? Of course it's Yuan Ning Dan. There are countless Void King realm fighters in Fenggalan City. The demand for this kind of panacea is huge. Our Yuan Ning Dan is often sold out as soon as it is refined. Kong Saran said. Proudly replied. I understand. Yang Kai nodded slightly, and he also had a care in his heart. There are countless panaceas in the world, and the number of prescriptions cannot be counted, but if you ask warriors about the panacea that is most in demand, the answer, apart from panacea for healing and recovery, is Yuening pill. The use of Yuan Ning pill has been accompanied by Void King realm warriors for many years. Any Void King realm warrior has a great demand for this kind of panacea, because it can promote the transformation of the source power in the body. Fenggalan City is not big, and there are not many Daoyuan realm experts, but it has become a gathering place for many Void King realm warriors. One can imagine the terrifying demand for Yuan Ning pill. Opening a pharmacy in Fenggalan City, without Yuan Ning Dan, it is impossible for people to patronize it. And the Yuening pill formula in Dianfeng was improved by an emperor-level alchemist. It is about 10% more effective than the ordinary Yuening pill, and has accumulated countless praises and praises. Countless warriors want to buy Yuening pill from Lingdan Workshop, and every time a new Yuening pill is refined, it will be robbed by people. This is also the result of Kong Saran limiting the number of purchases per person. If there is no limit to the number of purchases, I am afraid that the snatching will be even more fierce. But now, the Yuan Ning Danyu in Dianfeng is out of stock, which naturally caused dissatisfaction among many old customers. Outside the alchemy room, Kong Saran paced back and forth, feeling agitated. His strength is not low at his level, and as the shopkeeper of a workshop, his mind is calm, but now, he is still anxious like an ant on a hot pot. If he listened carefully, he could even hear the impatient urging voices of those Void King realm warriors on the ground at the entrance of the Spirit Pill Workshop. Tang tang tang. A series of footsteps came from above. Kong Saran didn't need to look to know that it was the shop assistant who rushed over. He stopped and said angrily before the waiter could speak, "Didn't I ask you to appease those guests? Why did you come down again?" "No, shopkeeper, the scene is a little out of control. Originally, our Dianfeng should have released the new Yuening pill yesterday. Many old customers have been waiting in line to buy since yesterday, but they have been delayed until now. Goods, they have long been dissatisfied. So what if you are dissatisfied? Do you want me to conjure it up for them out of thin air?" "Let them wait," Kong Saran replied impatiently. "I've said it many times, but they don't listen," the man said with a sad face. And what?" Kong Saran's expression darkened. "And I don't know who spread the rumor that our Spirit Pill Workshop will no longer supply spirit pills in the future, and some customers have already left because they were impatient." The man replied in a low voice. "Zhou Ningxi, you lowly servant girl." Kong Saran almost gritted her teeth. Although he didn't see it with his own eyes, but with his shrewdness, how could he not know that Zhou Ningxi instigated others to instigate it? Naturally, this vicious woman would not miss this opportunity to add insult to injury. She wished that Dianfeng would close down as soon as possible. "Although I despise it, But, this is really troublesome. If Yuan Ningdan cannot be produced within a short period of time, those customers who don't know the truth are very likely to believe the rumor, and a large number of customers will inevitably be lost by then, which will be a huge blow to the future of Ling Dianfeng. But in this situation, what can Kong Saran do? He turned his head and looked earnestly at the closed alchemy room. He could only pray that Yang Kai would not disappoint him too much. Shopkeeper, is this alchemist Yang really good? That guy doesn't seem to have much confidence in Yang Kai. He has seen many alchemists, but none of them are as high as Yang Kai, and the alchemists they often have an extremely sloppy image, dealing with herbs all year round, and their bodies also have a medicinal fragrance. From the previous contact with Yang Kai does not look like an orthodox alchemist at all. How do I know? Kong Saran replied weakly. It has been 10 days since Yang Kai entered the alchemy room. He was studying those alchemy formulas for the first 2 days, but on the third day, he asked himself for a large amount of medicinal materials for refining Yuan Ningdan, and he closed it immediately. I walked through the door of the alchemy room, and haven't come out until now. Kong Saran really wanted to rush in to take a peek, to see how many Yuan Ning pills Yang Kai had refined, and how many medicinal materials were wasted. Every alchemist has the loss of medicinal materials in the process of alchemy, which is unavoidable. Even the most experienced alchemist cannot guarantee that every furnace of alchemy will be successfully refined. It's just that depending on the alchemist's respective abilities, the consumption rate of medicinal materials is also different. Among the 3 alchemists in the Spirit Pill Workshop, the best one can control the loss rate of medicinal materials to about 30%, which means that when refining 10 furnaces of alchemy, 7 furnaces will be successful and the remaining 3 furnaces will be useless. This is already a remarkable achievement, and Fan Hong's material loss rate has reached about 50%. Even so, Kong Saran had to treat him as a guest, who made him a king-level alchemist. What is the loss rate of Yang Kai's medicinal materials? 60%, 70%. Even if it is 80%. Kong Saran felt that he could accept it, as long as he refined some Yuan Ning pills to support the scene, it was enough. But what makes him anxious is that Yang Kai hasn't taken out a single Yuan Ning pill until now. If it wasn't for the fact that the alchemist couldn't disturb him while refining the elixir, Kong Saran would have rushed in to have a look. The noise outside seemed to be getting more and more intense, which made Kong Saran extremely agitated. Crack! Just then, there was a soft sound. Kong Saran was startled, then overjoyed, his eyes widened and he looked forward. The closed door of the alchemy room was opening with a click. Before it was fully opened, Kong Saran rushed in directly. The alchemy room was filled with flames, but Kong Saran turned a deaf ear to it, and went directly to Yang Kai, and with a glance, he saw a pile of medicinal residues piled up not far from Yang Kai. It was the product of the failure to refine the panacea. It was dark and had a burnt smell. The dregs are not too much, probably only about 10 parts. And what he handed over to Yang Kai 7 days ago was a full 100 copies of Yuan Ningdan's materials. I just don't know how many doses this pill master Yang has consumed. If we can find out, then we can estimate the consumption rate of his medicinal materials, Kong Saran thought to himself. Pill master Yang. Kong Saran forcefully forced a smile on his face, cupped his fists and said, have you refined the panacea yet? Well, it's all here. Yang Kai waved his hand, and more than 30 jade bottles appeared in front of him immediately. Hiss! Seeing this scene, Kong Saran couldn't help taking a breath, and stared at the jade bottles on the ground stupidly. His whole body was stunned. Yang Kai stared at him in amazement, and shouted, Treasurer Kong. Only then did Kong Saran come back to his senses, twisted his stiff neck, looked at Yang Kai and said, Pill Master Yang, are these all Yuan Ning pills? Exactly, shopkeeper Kong can check it. Hearing what he said, Kong Saran didn't hesitate anymore, stretched out his hand to inhale, and inhaled several jade bottles, opened the caps one by one, and found that all of them were full of round color and fragrant Yuaning pill. There are 10 pieces in a bottle, and there are more than 30 bottles here, which means that there are more than 300 Yuaning pills here. This number appeared in Kong Saran's mind, and it hit him like a sledgehammer, knocking him dizzy, and he couldn't think for a while. How is this possible? How could this happen? In just 7 days of hard work, more than 300 Yuaning pills were refined by one person. This is equivalent to the achievement of the 3 alchemists in the Spirit Pill Workshop working together in the past. Can Yang Kai handle 3 by himself? Kong Saran completely lost his mind and froze in place, unable to recover for a long time. Everything in front of him subverted his understanding of common sense. Seeing this scene, Yang Kai couldn't help but smile bitterly in his heart. It seems that I still took too much. If I had known earlier, I would have deducted another 100 coins. It is actually not difficult for Yang Kai to refine Yuan Ning Dan. After all, it is only a Void King level middle grade panacea, and Yang Kai himself has long been able to refine the Void King level high grade pill, he just does not know the formula and has never refined it. Just pass. After experiencing the first few failures, it has become handy. The number of pills produced from a batch of medicinal materials is also gradually increasing. From the first 2 or 3 pills, to 4 pills, then 5 pills, 100 materials, 10 parts were wasted, and all the remaining medicinal materials were refined into pills, a total of more than 400 pills. Yang Kai withheld 100 spirit pills privately, so as not to shock the world too much. But now it seems that there is no problem with detaining 200 coins. He himself needs Yuan Ning Dan, and he needs it in large quantities. Even if he can't use it all up, he can sell it. Yuan Ning Dan will definitely not worry about selling it. Kong Saran's expression made him very annoyed. But, fortunately, those Yuan Ning pills with pill patterns were all detained by him, which is also a consolation. After a long time, Kong Saran also laughed, looking a little nervous. Yang Kai seemed to be able to understand Kong Saran's mood a little bit, so he didn't say much. After all, Kong Saran didn't expect Yang Kai to be so good. One person can equal to the sum of the previous 3 alchemists. He just hoped that Yang Kai would not waste too much medicinal material, but the result surprised him greatly. The violent ups and downs of his mood made him unable to restrain the joy in his heart at all, and it was only natural to laugh out loud. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1982 9 Heaven's Profound Alchemy. How is it possible that old Ghost Kong actually took out more than 30 bottles of Yuan Ning Dan? Are you sure you read it right? In the Pill Artifact Pavilion, Zhou Ningxi's pretty face was gloomy, looking at a Void King first-level man in front of him. Warrior, asked in a deep voice. The warrior was short and fat, and nodded when he heard the words. This subordinate can't be mistaken, the more than 30 bottles of spirit pills are indeed Yuaning pills, and they were snatched up by many people as soon as they were taken out, and this subordinate also worked hard. It took 9 oxen and 2 tigers to get back the 3 that were snapped up. As he spoke, he respectfully placed the jade bottle containing the 3 elixirs in front of Zhou Ningxi. Because the Yuan Ning pills in Lingdan Workshop are too popular, Kong Saran stipulated that any customer who comes to buy them can only buy up to 3 pieces at a time. 3 Yuaning pills are enough for a Void King Realm warrior to use for 10 days and half a month. Wait until it's used up, and then go buy it, and it just so happens that the Spirit Pill Workshop will produce a new Yuaning pill. This way of selling is also an important reason why dianfeng Yuaningdan is so popular. Because of the tight supply of Yuan Ning pills, this kind of panacea appeared on the black market in Fengdalan City. Although the price was only 20% higher than those sold in those shops, the supply was in short supply. Many Void King Realm fighters don't care about the extra 20% price, they just want to convert the power in their body into source power as soon as possible. Really Yuan Ning pill? Zhou Ningxi poured out the 3 spirit pills, her eyebrows frowned even more. Shopkeeper, could these spirit pills be refined by that guy named Yang Kai? The chunky warrior asked. Zhou Ningxi sneered, and snorted coldly. Do you think he can refine so many spirit pills by himself in 10 days? What level of alchemist do you think he is? Even Daoyuan level alchemists are not so big ability. What the shopkeeper said is that the subordinates are stupid. The short and fat warrior thought about it for the same reason. Although he didn't know much about alchemy, he also knew how to refine the alchemy. And how much consumption. It is too ridiculous for a person to refine more than 300 elixir within 10 days. It seems that old Ghost Kong still has some stock in stock. Zhou Ningxi was thoughtful. This old guy is really not easy to deal with. What can we do? I heard that 2 alchemists from the Ziwen Chamber of Commerce will be dispatched to Fengdalan City in 2 months. If we can't get the Spirit Pill Workshop out within 2 months, then there will be no chance. Zhou Ningxi nodded slightly when she heard the words. A cold murderous intent flashed in her star-like eyes. The murderous intent bloomed slightly, making the short and fat warrior shudder. Go down, keep an eye on the Spirit Pill Workshop, and report to me immediately if there is any trouble. Zhou Ningxi waved her hand. Yes. After the short and fat warrior left, Zhou Ningxi picked up another Yuan Ning pill again with a puzzled face. put it under the nose and sniffed it, observed carefully for a while, and murmured, "It's strange, the elixir does not look like it has been stored for a long time, but it seems to be newly refined." She had discovered this before. After all, although Zhou Ningxi was not an alchemist, she still had a bit of foresight when dealing with alchemy all the year round. The 3 spirit pills in front of her are round in color, full in body and pure in fragrance, obviously they are of the highest quality. What worries Zhou Ningxi the most is that these spirit pills seem to have been refined recently. Could it be from that alchemist named Yang Kai? This thought surfaced, but was quickly denied by Zhou Ningxi. No matter what, she was unwilling and did not dare to believe that one person could refine so many panacea in such a short period of time. She would rather believe that this was the stock that old Ghost Kong had prepared and thrown out. After pondering for a moment, she stretched out her slender fingers, pinched the elixir, stuffed it into her mouth, swallowed it into her abdomen, and operated the mysterious power to dissolve the effect of the medicine. She herself has reached the peak of the Void King realm, and all the source power in her body has been transformed, and she doesn't need the assistance of Yuan Ning pill, she just did this to test the efficacy of this panacea. Initially, Zhou Ningxi's expression was normal, but as time passed, when the surging medicinal power flowed through her limbs and bones, she couldn't help but her complexion changed slightly. She opened her beautiful eyes, and exclaimed, "This yes-a." She found that the medicinal power contained in the yuewen pill was actually stronger than the yuewen pill sold by dianfeng. Although this increase is subtle and almost imperceptible, it does exist. Old Ghost Kong actually asked that master to modify the formula again. Zhou Ningxi immediately thought of this possibility. The Yuan Ning Dan formula in Ling Danfeng made Zhou Ningxi extremely jealous, and it was also the main reason why she spent a lot of money to poach 3 alchemists from her opponents. Those 3 alchemists, for various reasons, would not disclose the alchemy recipes they had mastered to others, but it is no problem to take out the materials for them to refine. As long as they are dug over, then the alchemy pavilion can also sell them in the future. If you produce the same panacea as the panacea, then the only advantage of the pana will disappear, and it will become easier to suppress it. But today's discovery made Zhou Ningxi very angry. Old Ghost Kong is really cunning, he must have known his plan, that's why he changed the formula of the pill again, and the effect of Dang Yuan Ning Dan became better. In this way, the Spirit Pill Workshop still has an advantage in the efficacy of the medicine. Zhou Ningxi's lungs were about to explode, so what's the point of her paying so much to poach the 3 alchemists of her opponent? Old Ghost Kong, just wait for my old lady, the star envoy from the Star God Palace will come to Fenggalan City in a few days, and then I will see how you fight with me. Zhou Ningxi said to herself angrily rode. At the same time, the underground alchemy room of the Spirit Pill Workshop. Yang Kai sat cross-legged, turning his alchemy experience in the past few days into insights, examining and inspecting them one by one, accumulating. After refining so many furnace condensation pills, he naturally gained something. This kind of harvest is not only the material harvest of deducting 100 yuan condensation pills, but also the increase in alchemy experience and understanding of alchemy. A few years ago, he aroused the Great Tao Pill sound on Shuiyu Star, and since then he has had a unique advantage over alchemy. The resounding of the Great Tao Pill sound made him fundamentally change his alchemy talent. It is not modest to say that the current Yang Kai's alchemy aptitude is not inferior to Shanning Shang's medicine spirit sacrament, and even surpasses it in some aspects. It was for this reason that he was able to use it so easily after getting a new pill formula, and was able to refine a better panacea. Zhou Ningxi guessed wrong. The formula of Yuan pill in Spirit Pill Workshop has not changed, it is just refined by Yang Kai. The condensed medicinal liquid is purer, so the effect of refined spirit pill will be better. And this is just the beginning. I believe that as Yang Kai continues to refine, the medicinal power of the panacea will become stronger and stronger, and eventually become unique. Kong-saran ordered someone to send 100 copies of Yuan Ning Dan's ingredients, but he also asked Yang Kai to rest for a few more days before starting the furnace for refining. He is more concerned about Yang Kai's physical condition than Yang Kai himself. Now in the Spirit Pill Workshop, only Yang Kai, an alchemist, sits in charge, and he can be the top 3, so Kong-saran dares to be negligent. Kai's attitude became more and more friendly, almost responsive to requests. But having said that, Yang Kai didn't seem to have any requirements. At this time, Yang Kai was taking Yuan Ning pill to transform the strength in his body while reaping the insights of alchemy in the past few days. A few days passed in a hurry, and Yang Kai turned on the furnace again. 100 materials were divided into different categories. Yang Kai looked solemn. There was a flame of divine consciousness beating in front of the Zixu cauldron. It was extremely hot. Each medicinal material was thrown in, and under the power of powerful spiritual consciousness, the impurities were removed, and the medicinal liquid after being condensed, one by one spirit formations are portrayed, disillusioned and disillusioned in the cauldron. Yang Kai's movements are very familiar, extremely skilled, without the slightest procrastination. The mastery of the fire is so good that it can almost make an emperor-level alchemist amazed, and the timing of the medicinal materials is also accurate. The change in talent made it easier for Yang Kai to refine alchemy. For Yang Kai, refining pills is almost like eating and drinking. It is an instinct. He clearly knows when to portray what kind of spirit array, which spirit array has the best effect, and when to use what kind of spirit array. The duration of the fire, and when to put in the medicinal materials. When alchemy became instinctive, it was a luxury to fail in alchemy. Supplemented by the powerful divine consciousness fire, a natural advantage that all alchemists dream of, Yang Kai has already walked in front of many people in alchemy. Although he has not put much energy into it all the time. The avenue is dark, without a trace, and only a very few lucky people can reach out and touch it. Yang Kai is no different from one of them. Danxiang began to permeate and dissipate. Yang Kai's expression became more focused. He did not take it lightly because of his proficiency, but became more cautious. Inside the Zixu cauldron, various liquid medicines are mixed, and under the action of the spirit array and the fire of the divine consciousness, miraculous transformations take place. When the fragrance of the pill condensed to a certain level, Yang Kai suddenly moved. He kept pinching the mysterious spells in his hands. Beams of mysterious light shot into the Zixu cauldron, printed into it and disappeared. A feeling of ancient desolation suddenly pervaded, as if this set of spells did not belong to the present era, but belonged to the extremely ancient times. But this set of techniques coincides with Tao, and contains countless mysteries. With the use of the techniques, the power of Yang Kai's body and the power of consciousness are like a flood, and they are consumed irresistibly. 9 Heavens Profound Alchemy. This is a set of extremely advanced alchemy techniques, which have no effect on cultivation and can only be used by alchemists to collect alchemy. There are countless techniques and techniques for collecting alchemy in the world, each with its own merits. Grand Master Zuoda, who competed with Yang Kai in the Water Sky City, once created a set of Red Lotus skill, which was sought after by countless alchemists in his hometown Starfield. In the true solution of alchemy, there is also a way to collect alchemy, which Yang Kai once studied. But this set of 9 Heavens Profound Alchemy Ju is not from the true understanding of alchemy, but from the installation of Taoist alchemy. To be continued, this text is provided by the Breaking Dawn Update group at. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to read. Chapter 1983 Mixed Dragon and Snake. Chapter 1983 Mixed Dragon and Snake. The competition between Yang Kai and Zuoda on that day was precisely because of the final alchemy method that triggered the Dao Danyan. That set of alchemy techniques is the embryonic form of the 9 Heavens Profound Alchemy art, which Yang Kai realized by combining all the alchemy knowledge he has mastered with his life's alchemy experience. And with the ringing of Tao pill sound, the omnipresent and all-encompassing heavenly Tao law perfected this set of pill collection techniques for Yang Kai. Therefore, the 9 Heavens Profound Alchemy can be regarded as the crystallization of the Tao of heaven. The principle of heaven and earth is everywhere, and only those who are predestined can realize a thing or two from it, and thus benefit endlessly. Yang Kai's 9 Heavens Profound Alchemy is the product of the heaven and earth itself, but he was able to spy on it by chance. Even if he wants to pass on this kind of technique to others, I am afraid that outsiders will not be able to comprehend it, because it is the affirmation of Dao Danyan to him. At that time, Yang Kai felt that this method of collecting pills was extremely mysterious, and if he wanted to comprehend it thoroughly, it would not be possible to achieve it in a short time. Looking at it now, it really makes some sense. After all, this set of 9 Heavens Profound Alchemy Ju, which was born in the star territory of his hometown, is still an extremely high-end method used in the star realm. All the elixirs he refined were finished with the 9 Heavens Profound Alchemy formula. At this moment, it's time to collect the pills. With the execution of the 9 Heavens Profound Alchemy art, the alchemy fragrance in the alchemist became more and more intense, and at a certain moment, there were even bursts of strange noises in the Zixu cauldron. Realizing that the time had come, Yang Kai stretched out his hand to touch the purple void cauldron, and the cauldron's cover flew up, followed by 6 round spirit pills. Yang Kai took out the jade bottle that had been prepared and put it away. Only 6 pieces. Yang Kai frowned slightly, as if he was a little dissatisfied. Theoretically speaking, 1 yuan ning dan's ingredients can charge up to 9 pills, which is the limit that most pills can reach. Although Yang Kai's alchemy aptitude is good, and he has the unique method of collecting alchemy like the 9 heavens profound alchemy art, but after all, manpower is sometimes poor, he is just a Void King level top rank alchemist, and he can only do one-time alchemy with all his strength 6. There are still 3 short of the limit of 9. But this is already very remarkable. There are not many alchemists who can condense the spirit pills to the limit, and those who can do this are all great masters who are famous in the entire star world. Even for them, there are times when the horse stumbles, and it is impossible to achieve such results every time. The number of 6 pieces is impossible for ordinary Daoyuan level alchemists to achieve. Yang Kai can do this, and more than half of the credit is due to the 9 heavens profound alchemy. That's why alchemists are eager for good alchemy techniques, because a good set of alchemy techniques means that more pills can be refined at the last moment, which saves a lot of materials, time and energy in disguise. When Yang Kai first refined Yuan Ning Dan, he could only condense 2 pills, but now, only 10 days later, he has reached the level of 6. This kind of growth is extremely terrifying. No one believed it. Although it seems that it is not far from the limit of the 9, sometimes 1 or 2 can become an insurmountable moat. If Yang Kai wants to reach the limit, he still needs a lot of practice and experience accumulation. 100 materials, Yang Kai spent 6 or 7 days to consume all of them. As usual, he intentionally failed to refine more than a dozen batches, so as to avoid Kong Saran's suspicion. In fact, according to his ability, even if he closes his eyes when refining Yuan Ning pill, the refining will not fail. When Kong Saran received the notice to take the pill, his expression was extremely exciting. Even though he had already had such an experience, Kong Saran still couldn't believe that Yang Kai could refine 100 batches of spirit pills in such a short time. In terms of quantity, there is almost no difference from the ones taken last time, both are more than 300 pieces. Yang Kai deducted more than 200 Yuan Ning pills this time. Pill Master Yang, it's a great honor to be able to cooperate with you. Kong Saran looked at Yang Kai with a smile on his face. If it weren't for you, my spirit pill workshop would really be closed down. Don't say thank you. If Pill Master Yang is sent in the future, this old man will definitely go through fire and water, and he will not hesitate to do so. Treasurer Kong is serious about his duty. Yang Kai smiled slightly. Yang Kai's modesty and geniality made Kong Saran smile brighter. He had never seen such a young, capable alchemist, yet so unassuming. Among the 3 alchemists in the spirit pill workshop, which one was not extremely difficult to serve? Every time they came to fetch pills, the 3 of them would all have bad faces, making it seem like I owed them millions of source crystals. Even though their strength was higher than theirs, Kong Saran had to accompany them every time. Smile, be careful. You have to help them complete all kinds of weird requests. For example, that Fan Hong, every time he finishes alchemy, he has to find a beautiful virgin to relax, and the cultivation level of this virgin cannot be lower than the Void Return Mirror. There are quite a few warriors who return to the Void Mirror in Fenggalan City, but to find such a woman, the price of Spirit Pill Workshop is definitely not low. The requirements of the other 2 alchemists were even more outrageous. Some wanted to drink the 10,000 red flower brewed only in the City Lord's mansion, and some wanted to eat the magic flame fruit that grew in the depths of the flame swamp. That 10,000 safflower brew, a small cup needs 1,000 source crystals. And it's a special tribute from the City Lord's mansion. If it wasn't for Kong Saran's connections, he wouldn't be able to get it. The magic flame fruit is even more difficult to obtain. The depths of the flame swamp is a desperate place. Daoyuan warriors may die if they go deep into it. The magic flame fruit that grows in it is naturally worth extraordinary. One fruit, 5,000 source crystals is considered low, 7 or 8,000 are possible. The key is that this thing can only satisfy the appetite, and it has no use in improving the strength. Every time Kong Saran thinks of this, his heart bleeds. And this alchemist Yang, not only has a friendly personality, but also doesn't have any other requirements, just some convenience pills can satisfy him. In comparison, Yang Kai's noble character is just like those 3 rubbish. Now that the 3 of them are in the pill artifact pavilion, let Zhou see, that lowly servant girl, have a good headache. Thinking of this, Kong Saran's mood suddenly improved. Pill Master Yang, do you want to rest for a few more days? With the Yuan Ning pill you provided this time, our spirit pill workshop won't need to worry about the supply of goods in the next half-month. Seeing Yang Kai being so conscientious, Kong Saran's heart ached. I was also a little moved, so I took the initiative to propose. Oh, if Yuan Ning pill is enough, do you want to refine other spirit pills? Yang Kai asked. Kong Saran chuckled. The demand for other spirit pills is not very high. I still have some stocks here, so don't worry. Pill Master Yang, you should take a good rest and don't tire yourself out. Okay then, I'll rest for a few days. Yang Kai thought for a while and nodded. It's best like this. By the way, Alchemist Yang has just come to Fenglan City, do you want to go out with the old man tomorrow? Where are you going? Yang Kai looked at Kong Saran suspiciously. Kong Saran smiled slightly and said, that's how it is. A star envoy has come to the Star God Palace, and he is now in the City Lord's mansion. I am fortunate enough to invite you to accompany me. I will go out with the star envoy tomorrow, and I can bring one person with me. A star envoy from Star God Palace? Yang Kai raised his brows. Seeing his appearance, Kong Saran secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately Yang Kai was not so ignorant that he didn't even know about the Star God Palace. After all, this is the overlord of the entire southern region, the sect where Emperor Mingyu belongs. And Emperor Mingyu is one of the 10 emperors. As the envoy of the Star God Palace, his status is obviously extremely respected. How could the star envoy from the Star God Palace come to Maple Forest City? Yang Kai frowned. After all, Maple Forest City is not very prosperous, so it is impossible to attract such people. But soon, Yang Kai suddenly realized, is it because of the matter in Yuqing Mountain? That's right. Kong Saran nodded and said, Luan and Phoenix traces have been found in Yuqing Mountain. During this time, many foreign powerhouses have come to Fenglan City to go to Yuqing Mountain to find out. Alchemist Yang, you practice alchemy here day and night, so I would like to thank you. I don't know anything about the outside world. The star envoy came here because of Luanfeng, otherwise, how could the small Fenglan City attract so many powerful people? Who are here? Yang Kai suddenly became curious. He's not gossip, but he intends to inquire about the power structure in the southern region. Listening to his question, Kong Saran naturally knows everything. The news of Luanfeng's appearance spread quickly. Almost all the major sect forces in the southern region who heard the news came. Only the old man knows, there are Tianwu Holy Land, Wuhua Temple, Qingyang Temple, these few the power is second only to the big sect of the Star God Palace. In addition, it seems that our Ziwan Chamber of Commerce and the 7 Luminaries Chamber of Commerce also have strong people coming, but the old man is only in charge of business matters, so he has not been notified, and has not cooperated with the strongmen from this Chamber of Commerce. Those who come into contact with them. Kong Saran said calmly, there are countless other small and medium-sized forces, and the current Fenglan City, the gathering of dragons, ghosts, snakes and gods is very lively. They want to track down Luanfeng's whereabouts. Yang Kai was stunned. That's not true. Kong Saran laughed in surprise. Luanfeng is the ancient holy spirit, even if the 10 great emperors fight in person, they may not be able to win. Who would dare to risk their lives to track down her whereabouts? It's just, after all, it is the appearance of the Holy Spirit, which will naturally attract the attention of many people. Moreover, the major forces also know that no results can be found in the investigation, but they cannot be left alone, so the people who came are actually not the real high-level people of those sects, but some the fledglings come to gain experience, see the market and so on. I see. Although our spirit pill workshop is not a big deal, it is the property of the Ziwan Chamber of Commerce after all, and the city lord has taken good care of it. This time, in order to welcome the accompanying star envoy, the old man was invited. Is Alchemist Yang interested in going with us? Have you seen Yuqing Mountain where the Holy Spirit appeared? I heard that the black flame of extinct world is still burning there. Daoyuan warriors dare not go deep easily, but we will not go deep, just go to relax, expand our horizons, and seeing what the extinguishing black flame really looks like. This life is not in vain. I have already experienced that thing deeply, Yang Kai thought to himself. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to read. Chapter 1984 Give you a great fortune. Chapter 1984 Sending You a Great Fortune. When Luanfeng appeared, Yang Kai was in Yuqing Mountain. It can be said that among the martial artists who have observed Luanfeng at close range, only Yang Kai survived, and the others have all died. He was naturally not interested in Kong Saran's proposal. So he declined Kong Saran's invitation. Although shopkeeper Kong felt a little pity, he didn't say much. After all, not everyone wants to show their face in front of the star envoy, looking forward to being supported and so on. Everyone has their own ambitions and cannot be forced. Kong Saran admired Yang Kai's free and easy mind, so he asked him to rest for a few days before leaving. Yang Kai tidied up briefly, left the spirit pill workshop, and returned to the cave he rented in Fenggalan City. On the second day, a majestic, huge, and luxuriously decorated building boat flew from the city lord's mansion and headed straight for Yuqing Mountain. That is the symbol of Star God Palace, the overlord of the Southern Territory. All the martial artists in Fenggalan City were shocked. But Yang Kai rented a white jade dragon horse carriage at this moment, and told the driver to go to a street in the west of the city. Even though Fenggalan City is not well known in the southern region, it occupies an extremely vast area. Flying is not allowed in the city, and imperial envoys are not allowed to fly secret treasures. Warriors want to save time and travel, so they can only rent the carriage of the white jade dragon horse. The white jade dragon horse, it is said that it has the blood of the ancient dragon, but it is already extremely thin. It has a gentle temperament, is easy to be domesticated, and has an attractive appearance, which is most suitable for pulling a cart. It took only half an hour to arrive at the place. Yang Kai paid for the car, got out of the carriage, came to a remote corner, took out a set of clothes prepared in advance from the space ring, put on his hat, covered his appearance, and went straight to the bustling street ahead. Go up. This is the black market in Maplewood City. Although he has not been in Fenggalan City for a long time, he has already found out the existence of the black market. The so-called black market is a street that cannot exist openly, but is also allowed by the city lord's mansion of Fenggalan City by default. Here, there are a lot of loot after killing people and stealing goods. Many things can't be sold on the bright side, and you can find good sales here. There are also some items of unknown origin that can also be sold at a price here. Warriors entering and exiting the black market consciously abide by a rule: regardless of the source of the item, regardless of the origin of the name of the seller, both the money and the goods are paid, and they are irrelevant after the transaction. In this kind of place, it is very easy to find some good things, so it is very sought after and welcomed by the warriors of Fenggalan City, and it is overcrowded every day. However, because of that special rule, there are also some speculators who sell fake and substandard goods as good ones. This is the time to test the eyesight and knowledge of buyers. If you are deceived because of greed, you are asking for it. Yes, you can't blame others. Yang Kai was still a little worried about whether his attire would attract too much attention. After all, it was a bit of a guilty conscience, and he really didn't look like a good person. But when he entered this black market street, he found that his thoughts were a little redundant. There are a lot of warriors dressed similarly to him, and they are everywhere. This discovery made him relax immediately. As soon as he walked into this street, an old man with sly eyebrows and mouse eyes quietly approached him. With a mysterious look on his face, he tugged at the corner of Yang Kai's clothes, his eyes wandering, beckoning him to speak aside. Speak directly, Yang Kai said coldly. Brother, this old man has something good to tell you. How can I say it in this place? Be careful that walls have ears. The old man said while looking around, vigilant like a mouse stealing oil. Then don't talk about it. Yang Kai naturally knew that in this place, there were all kinds of people, so he wouldn't be in the mood to waste time with a stranger. While speaking, he took a step forward and walked forward. Hey little brother, don't go. The old man hurriedly chased after him, stopped in front of Yang Kai, gritted his teeth and said, well, little brother seems to be a busy person, so the old man won't waste your time, just take a look this thing. Saying so, he took out a piece of crumpled animal skin paper from his chest that looked like it was old. The animal skin paper was made from the fur of some kind of monster, and it still had not weak energy fluctuations. On the animal skin paper, complex lines run through, crisscrossing and intertwining, which looks extremely profound. The old man just shook the animal skin paper in front of Yang Kai, then put it away at a very fast speed, and then said sadly, to tell the truth, little brother, this treasure map is a treasure handed down by the old ancestor, the old ancestor followed it as the Heaven Devourer, great emperor who passes through the heavens and latitudes, and this treasure map points to the place where the Heaven Devourer, great emperor, hides his treasure. The old man is weak and unable to go to find the treasure. When he saw the little brother today, he fell in love with him very much. How about selling a treasure map to you, Emperor Heaven Devourer? Yang Kai raised his eyebrows. Exactly. Is that the great emperor who possesses the heaven-devouring art of war? Who else can there be besides him? The old man looked at Yang Kai happily. It turns out that little brother knows the heaven-devouring art of war. It is a top-level skill that the world can't tolerate. To tell you the truth, this skill is very possible right here where the treasure is hidden. If the little brother can obtain this exercise, he will be able to become the top 10 emperors in the future. Hee, I already know the heaven-devouring art of war, so I'm not interested in your treasure map. You can find someone else. 5,000 source crystals will be sold to you. Top opportunity, little brother, do you want to think about it? The old man shouted behind Yang Kai. Yang Kai didn't pay attention to him at all. The old man suddenly became angry. Stinky boy, if you don't buy it, you don't buy it. You dare to say that you know how to fight the sky. Do you really think this old man is a fool? After finishing speaking, he muttered to himself again, is this trick too easy to be seen through? Do you want to use another method? I was worrying that no one had been deceived for several months, and when I was penniless, another martial artist walked up the street, and that martial artist was a girl who looked 17 or 18 years old. The girl was not ugly, and her figure was also excellent, but a huge crescent-shaped birthmark on half of the face ruined the overall beauty, which made people sigh. The girl came bouncing from there, like a happy elf, with an innocent face. Seeing this, the old man immediately greeted him with a very kind smile on his face. You, what are you doing? The girl was startled, and immediately took a few steps back, looking at the old man warily. Don't be afraid, girl. I don't mean anything malicious. The old man smiled more and more kindly. Then what do you want to do? The girl looked the old man up and down, with a hint of instinctive vigilance in her clear beautiful eyes. The old man chuckled, pretending to be profound. The old man and the girl are destined to meet here, and I want to give you a great fortune. When the girl heard this, her beautiful eyes lit up, and she asked in surprise, great fortune, what kind of fortune? Tell me, tell me. She was overjoyed deep in her heart, secretly thinking that the legendary stories that Aunt Feng told her when she was a child were not deceiving herself. There really is such a thing of chance in this world. With the advice and benefits given by some mysterious old men, he soars into the sky, becomes a blockbuster, achieves great achievements, and is admired and worshipped by hundreds of millions of people. When I was a child, I listened to these stories with great interest, but this time I haven't encountered them for more than half a year since I came out. The girl thought that it was just Aunt Feng tricking her, but now it seems that it is not the case. Now there is a mysterious old man who is going to give her a great fortune. The girl is so excited that her heart is jumping for joy. In an instant, the old man who is good at deceiving and abducting has become that kind of extremely powerful outsider in the eyes of the girl. Appearing in this crowded place is to find a suitable successor. And I am undoubtedly the peerless genius who is one in a million, so I can be selected by the eyes of the wise. As for dressing casually or even, well, be a bit sloppy, isn't that what a worldly expert should look like? Hey, the old man showed his big yellow teeth and smiled inscrutably, then reached into his bosom and took out the crumpled animal skin paper. Grandmother, is there a shop here that collects spirit pills? Yang Kai stood in front of a booth, looking at the silver-haired old woman who looked trembling and asked. One of 500 source crystals, made by the old man himself. The old woman looked at Yang Kai with a smile on her face, and pointed to a pile of unknown things in front of her. Yang Kai frowned and said, I'm asking, is there a shop here that collects spirit pills? Oh, you want to buy two, it's cheaper for you, 900 source crystals, no counter-offering. The old woman raised her hands again and again, as if you had taken advantage of it. Don't pretend to be deaf and dumb with me, believe it or not, I will overturn your stall. Yang Kai looked at the old woman in front of him viciously, revealing the powerful power fluctuations of his Void King 3-layer in a timely manner. The old woman's complexion changed, and she lost her previous senility in an instant, and her eyes turned cold and stern. Little things don't know how to respect the old and love the young at all, they really are not polite. The cultivation base of Shu Wang's first level is pretending to be deaf here, are you kidding me? Yang Kai looked at her with contempt. Go over there, don't stand in the way of the old woman to do business, it's difficult to do business these days. The old woman pointed in a direction casually, and in the blink of an eye, she returned to the trembling and wind-blown appearance just now. Following the old woman's instructions, Yang Kai quickly arrived at the door of a shop. The clerk in the shop is a normal person, unlike the old women and old people I met before. After asking Yang Kai's purpose, he welcomed him in enthusiastically, and arranged a side room properly, made tea for Yang Kai. After a while, he retreated respectfully. Yang Kai was not in a hurry, so he sipped the tea and waited quietly. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1985. Surprisingly still alive. The reason why Yang Kai wants to come to the black market is that there are some unavoidable difficulties. And the biggest difficulty is the more than 300 yuan ning pills. These yuan ning pills were embezzled by him privately, and he could not use them up if he used them, and wasting them if he kept them. If he sold them, there is no good channel. After all, the origin of these yuan ning pills is really not so above board. Yang Kai couldn't open a shop by himself to sell these pills. If he really did that, he would definitely be criticized by the people in the spirit pill workshop. So he can only come to this black market. This is the best and most suitable place. He basically has no source crystals in his hand, and after selling these batches of elixir, he can somewhat save the emergency. After a short while, a chubby fat man pushed the door and entered. The fat man's face was red and he was full of fat. When he walked, the floor creaked. His eyes were narrowed into a slit, and the light was shining in the slit. As soon as he came in, the fat man clasped his fists enthusiastically and said, "My lord, Jin Fugi, I have met this young master." He wisely didn't ask Yang Kai's name, because people who came here don't like others to inquire about their details. Yang Kai got up and said, "Treasurer Jin is polite." Looking up and down, Yang Kai suddenly discovered that this fat man is also a Void King third-layer warrior, and the power in his body is extremely powerful, and it seems that the source power has been completely transformed. Such an existence, even if it is not in Fenggalan City definitely not much, just like Kongsaran and Zhoningxi, they can be regarded as the strong in Fenggalan City. Jin Fugi sat down with a warm expression on his face, and the chair under his buttocks let out a moan of teeth grinding. He looked at Yang Kai with a smile and said, "I heard from the buddy that the guest has a batch of panacea that needs to be shot." "Exactly." Jin Fugi's small eyes lit up when he heard the words, and said, "Dare to ask what kind of panacea the guest is?" Mr. Jin is considered to have some face in Fenggalan City, so if the customer trades here, you can rest assured that Mr. Jin has always bid Gongcha Road is well known, and will never disclose any information about the guests, so please relax your mind. Treasurer Jin can say that, that's the best. Yang Kai nodded, reached out and took out a jade bottle from his space ring, pushed it in front of Jin Fugi and said, "Treasurer Jin, take a look, I want to make a move. Ida S the panacea. A." Jin Fugi looked up at Yang Kai, immediately picked up the jade bottle, opened the bottle cap, and looked around. The next moment, he couldn't help raising his eyebrows, and said in surprise, "Is it Yuan Ning Dan?" Things like Yuan Ning Dan have never been worried about not being sold, especially in this black market. There are not 10,000 or 8,000 people waiting to buy Yuan Ning Dan every day. It was looted as soon as it appeared. Therefore, Jin Fugi is extremely satisfied with the goods brought by Yang Kai. "How many guests are there?" Yang Kai-jong gestured a number. Jin Fugi couldn't help being moved. 300. The guest has such a means to get 300 Yuan Ning Dan. One Yuan Ning pill can last for 10 days for a first-level Void King warrior, about 6 or 7 days for a second-level Void King, and only 3 or 4 days for a third-level Void King. So the number of 300 source condensing pills does not seem to be much, but it is definitely not much. Any Void King realm warrior who gets these Yuaning pills will not have to worry about the transformation of Yuanli in the next few years or even 10 years. What Jin Fugi is most puzzled is, where did Yang Kai get such a large number of Yuan Ning pills? But it was a confidential matter, so he wisely didn't ask. After pondering for a while, Jin Fugi said, "The quantity is indeed quite a lot, but I don't know the quality." Yang Kai smiled and said, "Treasurer Jin can give it a try." Jin Fugi did not refuse either, and nodded upon hearing the words, "Then please forgive Jin for being rude." While speaking, he poured out a yuaning pill from the jade bottle, stuffed it into his mouth, and silently operated the zongong to dissolve it. After a while, the fat on his face trembled slightly, and a look of surprise flashed in his squinted eyes. Shine. This is the Yuan Ning pill that was refined after Yang Kai, and the pill formula provided by the Spirit Pill Workshop. There is absolutely nothing to say about the quality, even better than the quality of the Yuan Ning pill sold by the Spirit Pill Workshop. After all, Jin Fugi is also a third-layer Void King, and he has dealt with spirit pills all year round, so how could he not be able to judge this difference? He was secretly startled, realizing that the origin of these Yuan Ning pills in Yang Kai's hand was very likely to be extraordinary. There was silence in the wing room for a while, only Fatty Jin tapped the table with his hands again and again, as if he was thinking about something. After a while, he finally said, "The quality of this batch of Yuan Ning pills from the customer has nothing to say, how about I give the customer this price?" While speaking, he gestured with his hands. Yang Kai couldn't help sneering. "Treasurer Jin, in your eyes, do my batches of Yuan Ning pills only have this price? If that's the case, I'd be more than happy to go to other shops to have a look." Jin Fugi coughed lightly, and said, "Guests, listen to me, this batch of Yuan Ning Dan is indeed a high-quality product, but selling it in a small shop requires some manpower. You can't make nothing, right?" Treasurer Jin also makes sense. Yang Kai nodded, "But Yuan Ning pill doesn't have to worry about selling, I don't even need to go to any shop, just stand on the street and shout, I'm afraid it will be sold out." "Shopkeeper Jin, are you sure you want to give up this great opportunity to make money?" Jin Fugi's cheeks twitched immediately, and he made another gesture and said, "Then what is the price?" Yang Kai glanced at him and said, 501, maybe we still have a chance to cooperate again." Jin Fugi frowned when he heard the words, but soon made a decision, stood up and said, "Just do as the customer said, if you hope that the customer will have Yuan Ning Dan next time, you must first consider the small shop." Naturally, Yang Kai chuckled, "By the way, besides Yuan Ning pill, I have some other pills here, so shopkeeper Jin can help me estimate them." The other elixirs that Yang Kai mentioned were naturally withheld from the Jade Feather sect to help those disciples refine alchemy. There are a lot of them and there are many types, but the grade and popularity cannot be compared with Yuan Ning pill. Of course Jin Fugi doesn't care about these things. For him, a black market businessman, as long as he can make money, that's enough. At that moment, the two counted and calculated. Jin Fugi took away most of the spirit pills in Yang Kai's hands, and Yang Kai got nearly 170,000 source crystals. This number gave Yang Kai some confidence. After all, he had only earned 30,000 source crystals in the Jade Feather sect by helping people make alchemy for a month. But now, in less than half a month, 170,000 yuan has been credited. The biggest reason is still due to the high demand and high price of Yuan Ning pill. Coming out of Jin Fugi's shop, Yang Kai still looked like he was covered in a black robe. He was not in a hurry to go back, but wandered around in the black market. It is very easy to find some good goods in this kind of place, but the chances are very small. After all, there must not be many warriors who don't know the goods, and it is extremely rare to sell treasures as garbage. Yang Kai walked around, but there was nothing to gain. Just when he was about to go back home, suddenly a somewhat familiar voice came from not far away, with a trace of anger and grievance in the voice. "Why are you so unreasonable?" Yang Kai was stunned when he heard this, and a young girl's charming appearance flashed in front of his eyes. Impossible, Yang Kai thought to himself, but he had only been in Fenggalan City for a few days, and he didn't know many people, and the only voice he heard was that girl. Curious, he hurried over there. Not far away, a group of people are watching something, and many warriors are pointing at the center of the field. Yang Kai left the crowd and took a look inside. In an instant, the eyeballs almost protruded. On one side of the center of the scene, a girl wearing a long green dress frowned and looked forward. She was petite, with a full chest, a graceful figure, a delicate face, and fair skin. The most striking thing was her cheeks. There was a huge crescent-shaped birthmark, and there were several cloth bags hanging around his waist, which were bulging, and he didn't know what they contained. Mo Xiaoqi. Yang Kai couldn't believe his eyes. It turned out to be Mo Xiaoqi, the innocent girl I met in Yuqing Mountain. She is still alive. To be honest, seeing this little girl was still alive and kicking, Yang Kai breathed a sigh of relief for no reason, and the guilt that had always existed in his heart disappeared in an instant. That day in Yuqing Mountain, when the Holy Spirit got angry, the black flames were wiped out, and Yuqing Mountain was tortured thousands of miles away, and Mo Xiaoqi disappeared without a trace. Yang Kai thought she was dead, and was quite guilty at the time. Because if he was close enough to Mo Xiaoqi, he could pull her into the mysterious boundary bead to escape before the black flame burned over. But it was because of a single thought that this innocent girl died under Luanfeng's wrath. At that time Yang Kai was indeed a little guilty, although he was not very familiar with Mo Xiaoqi, but the other party gave him a very good impression. There are very few girls like Mo Xiaoqi in this world. Seeing her again now, while Yang Kai was delighted, he also had some doubts about how she escaped from that place. After all, Luanfeng's indiscriminate attack was too terrifying, and if he didn't have the mysterious boundary orb, he would be doomed. But if you think about it carefully, this girl's origin is extremely mysterious, and she is full of high-grade secret treasures. Maybe she used some kind of secret treasure's power to escape the catastrophe. Thinking about it this way, Yang Kai's evaluation of Mo Xiaoqi is a little higher in his heart. After all, the secret treasures that can withstand Luanfeng's angry attack are at least at the level of Emperor treasures. Mo Xiaoqi's ability to own Emperor treasures shows that her background may be somewhat unimaginable. But at this moment, this girl with a great background is in trouble. On the opposite side of her, a group of warriors surrounded a young man like stars and moons. The young man seemed to be graceful and suave, but a pair of lewd eyes kept scanning Mo Xiaoqi back and forth, especially those plump eyes. Feng, and can attract the young man's attention. But when he shifted his eyes to Mo Xiaoqi's face, he showed an expression of great regret, as if he hated the injustice of the Creator, and his expression was full of accusations against the blood and tears of God. To be continued. This text is provided by the Breaking Dawn update group at AC plus or minus a degree a diaresis T. If you like this work, you are welcome to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1986. I'm not easy to mess with. Why are you unreasonable? I fell in love with this thing first, and Yuanjing paid for it. Why should I give it to you? Mo Xiaoqi didn't know what he was holding in one hand, so don't put it behind his ass. With a full chest, facing a dozen big men without fear. Girl, you can't say that. Since my son is interested in this thing, he must buy it. We will pay you twice as much as the source crystal you paid. Please take that thing out, so as not to hurt you. Be kind. On the opposite side, a man snorted coldly, his strength fluctuated as he spoke, and his threatening tone was obvious. Do I care about your source crystal? Mo Xiaoqi pouted, turned to look at a half-old man beside him and said, Tell me, did I buy it from you first? The old man was obviously the seller, with a frowning look on his face. Hearing this, he looked at Mo Xiaoqi, then at the dozen menacing guys on the opposite side, and laughed dryly. Probably, yes. What is probably? Mo Xiaoqi looked at him in astonishment. Didn't I give you the source crystal? I gave you a little more source crystal just now, and you still thank me. The corner of the old man's mouth twitched and he remained silent. The young man, who had been surrounded by many warriors and stars, suddenly chuckled, looked at the old man and said, Old man, how much source crystal does this girl pay you? The old man showed embarrassment and hesitated for a while before softly saying, 8,000. 8,000, that's not much. I'm offering 10,000, how about the old man selling me something? The young man looked at the old man with a smile. 10,000. The old man was overjoyed when he heard the words, and nodded repeatedly, okay, okay. After agreeing, he looked puzzled again, but the thing has already been bought for this girl. What does that matter? Buying and selling, the one with the highest price wins. The young man smiled heartily, looked at Mo Xiaoqi and said, Girl, you should have heard clearly, this old man's things I bought for 10,000 source crystals, please take out. The one with the highest price gets it. Mo Xiaoqi gritted his silver teeth angrily, and before he finished speaking, he said, Okay, then I'll pay 20,000. Hearing this, the old seller was surprised and delighted. He never thought that his things could be sold for such a high price. At the same time, I was also a little annoyed that the thing that caused the two people in front of me to snatch it up so much was obviously a good thing, but unfortunately I didn't recognize it, and sold it as an ordinary item, which was a huge bargain for others. The young man frowned, with a ruthless look on his face. I paid 30,000, which is more than Yuanjing. Are you better than me? 50,000. Mo Xiaoqi flung out a number lightly, and immediately smashed it down like an invisible sledgehammer, knocking down the young man on the opposite side. The young man was about to burst into tears, and roared, Little girl, do you know who I am? How dare you grab something from me? I don't know who you are. Mo Xiaoqi looked at him with disgust. Besides, you are the one who wants to rob me, right? You are too unreasonable. Okay, Okay, you little girl, you really don't cry when you see the coffin. I will let you die to understand. I am Ning Yuancheng, the young master of Feixiang Palace. If you are sensible, leave your things, and get out. If you don't know, I told you to leave all your people and things to me. Ning Yuancheng sneered, his eyes wandered around Mo Shaoqi with malicious intentions. Flying Holy Palace. Is this person Ning Yuancheng? This girl is in serious trouble. After Ning Yuancheng's voice fell, Mo Shaoqi didn't respond yet, but the expressions of all the warriors who were watching changed slightly. After all, although Feixiang Palace is not considered the top-ranking force in the entire southern region, it cannot be compared with Tianwu Holy Land, Wuhua Palace and Qingyang Temple, but it is somewhat famous, which is far from what the forces around Fenggalan City can match. As the young palace master of Feixiang Palace, Ningyuan City's reputation is naturally not small, at least in the southern region. It is also a familiar existence. During this period of time, due to the appearance of Luanfeng, many forces went to Yuqing Mountain to investigate the situation. Naturally, Feixiang Palace was not immune, and the leader of the team was Ning Yuancheng, the young palace master. However, after they went to Yuqing Mountain to look around, they found nothing. On the way back, they stopped briefly in Fenggalan City. They did not expect to encounter such a thing in this black market. Ning Yuancheng had a smug expression on his face. He thought that after throwing out his name and the power behind him, the ignorant woman on the opposite side would definitely apologize, and maybe even throw himself in his arms to ask for forgiveness. Well, although the little girl has a huge birthmark that affects her view, she has a really good figure, especially those big breasts, which are definitely interesting to play with. At night, when you take off your clothes and turn off the lights, there is no difference. Feixiang Palace. What is it? I've never heard of it. Mo Shaoqi frowned slightly, with a dazed look on her face. Ning Yuancheng's proud expression froze in an instant, and the faces of many warriors from Feixiang Palace also became gloomy. Bold and lunatic, how dare you insult the Holy Palace? Take her down for me, and I will let her know what Feixiang Palace is. Ning Yuancheng gave the order fiercely. The dozen or so Void King Realm warriors made their move without hesitation. Fenggalan City is a small city, and even the city lord is only a warrior of the second level of Daoyuan, and the two deputy city lords are only at the first level of Daoyuan, and there are only 3 Daoyuan in total, so they are not taken seriously by the guys from Feixiang Palace, let alone in a place like the black market. Even on the street, they dare to do it. So what about the city lord's mansion? Could it be against Feixiang Palace? More than a dozen people rushed out at the same time, and 3 of them moved the fastest, and they came to Mo Shaoqi's side in an instant. In the palms of each of them, power surged. At any rate, they also knew that the order from their young master was to arrest people, not to kill them, so they left room for action. The onlookers exclaimed, all showing expressions of unbearable emotion. After all, a group of elders come together to bully a little girl. Even though that little girl has a 3rd layer Void King cultivation, she can always arouse the sympathy of others. Yang Kai also couldn't bear to look away, and clicked his tongue a few times. He couldn't bear it, not for Mo Shaoqi, but for the few Feixiang Palace warriors who took the lead in attacking her. What happened on Yuqing Mountain that day was still fresh in Yang Kai's memory. Even he has practiced the Immortal 5-element sword, consumed countless Hunyuan Dan's powerful body, and even touched Mo Shaoqi's blood, not to mention these guys who don't know the truth. What's more, Yang Kai just wanted to catch Mo Shaoqi and take her away at that time, and didn't use his strength, but now these people shot with anger, the consequences. Sure enough, there was a continuous burst of screams, which made all the warriors onlookers stunned. After seeing the changes in the field, their jaws almost hit the ground in shock. The 2 fighters who were holding Mo Shaoqi's shoulders screamed and flew back in the air the moment they touched her. The palms were bloody, and the wounds that were caused by unknown reasons were deep enough to see the bones. Horror of hope. And the martial artist who slapped Mo Shaoqi's lower abdomen with his palm was the most miserable. Although Mo Shaoqi was shaken after the palm print was hit, the man also screamed and fell back, with a burning pain in his palm. Looking around, I don't know why there is a human face imprint on my palm. The facial features of that face are distorted, hissing and howling, and the sensational howling seems to be able to reach the depths of the sea of AA consciousness. The martial artist froze in place for a moment, and in the sea of AA consciousness, a huge ghost face suddenly emerged, with blue-faced fangs, and a mouth full of blood, devouring his spiritual power, like drinking a sweet spring, and the ghost's face showed an extremely happy expression. This person had no ability to resist, and the expression in his eyes quickly dimmed. What? Ning Yuancheng screamed when he saw this scene. Everything in front of him was beyond his comprehension. It was clear that the 3 fighters under him were attacking Mo Xiaoqi, and the other party stood still, his eyes flustered, as if he didn't know how to fight back at all, but he didn't want her to do it at all, so the 3 fighters under him moved. The casualties were heavy. 2 injuries and 1 death, such a result almost blinded my eyes. What kind of secret technique is this? Is this girl pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger? Could it be some old witch who has lived for tens of thousands of years who hides her cultivation and pretends to be innocent here? Various thoughts emerged in Ning Yuancheng's mind, making his back wet with sweat in an instant. Back. At this moment, the rest of the fighters rushed to Mo Xiaoqi's side, but they were shouted back in shock. Everyone's reaction was really fast, seeing the situation was not good. How dare they attack Mo Xiaoqi casually? They all backed away in horror. A person walked out from behind Ning Yuancheng with a gloomy expression. This person looked like a middle-aged man. He had been standing silently behind Ning Yuancheng before, with a calm expression on his face. Until now, he walked out slowly and stood in front of Ning Yuancheng. As the young palace master of Feixiang Palace, when he travels, he will naturally be accompanied by 1 or 2 strong people. This person is Luigi, a master of Feixiang Palace who is in charge of protecting Ningyuan City, and a Daoyuan 2-layer cultivation base. As a Daoyuan 2nd-layer strongman, his eyesight is naturally extraordinary, and he can immediately see that Mo Xiaoqi has an extraordinary background. Just now, it was he who saw the opportunity was not good enough to drink away his disciples. He stood in front of Ning Yuancheng without a trace, blocked all possible angles of attack, looked at Mo Xiaoqi solemnly, with deep eyes, as if he wanted to examine her from inside to outside. You, what do you want to do? Mo Xiaoqi didn't come back to his senses until now, and said coquettishly with a stern expression on his face, "Don't come here, I'm not easy to mess with, be careful, I'll hit you." Everyone in the audience couldn't help but roll their eyes. You are not easy to mess with, isn't this an obvious thing? Still need you to say. To be continued. This text is provided by the Breaking Dawn update group at Ahixi. If you like this work, you are welcome to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1987 Pulling the Tiger's Skin to Make a Banner. Luigi frowned slightly, although he instinctively felt that Mo Xiaoqi's demeanor did not seem fake, nor did he look like an old hag hiding her cultivation and pretending to be a pig and eat a tiger, but he still didn't dare to take anything lightly. Vertex 23. After thinking for a while, he asked in a deep voice, "Dare to ask Miss Gao's name?" Mo Xiaoqi gritted her teeth and stared at him without answering. Luigi frowned even more, and the other party was silent, which really made him embarrassed, so he could only ask again, "Then how dare you ask the girl's background? I see that the girl seems to have a kind face, vaguely similar to someone I know, maybe. You and I may have some connections between the factions. If that's the case, please tell the girl, lest the flood washes away the Dragon King Temple, and the family will not recognize the family." He obviously wants to make big things small and small things small. After all, Luigi really couldn't see through Mo Xiaoqi's weirdness. It's better not to provoke such a person easily, otherwise it is very likely to bring disaster to the sect. Especially in the current Fenggalan city, where dragons and snakes are mixed, and people from various major forces are emerging one after another, Luigi feels that Mo Xiaoqi is very likely to be a direct disciple of a super big faction. Anyone with a little bit of experience would know how to follow up on Luigi's rhetoric. But how did Mo Xiaoqi know this? And he never thought that he would give Luigi and everyone in Feixiang Palace a step down. Hearing this, he said, "What is the origin? My soul, are we related?" Luigi's face was as dark as the bottom of a pot, and he secretly scolded Mo Xiaoqi for being too ignorant, and he didn't know whether the other party really didn't understand or pretended not to understand. But Mo Xiaoqi slipped out some clues just now. But Luigi was secretly startled. Mo Xiaoqi clearly wanted to talk about spirit just now, but in this star world, there are quite a few forces starting with the word spirit, and there are even a few that Feixiang Palace can't afford to offend. For a while, Luigi couldn't figure it out. The real origin of the other party. Just when he felt a little bit stuck, a strange laugh suddenly came from the crowd. Who is it? Luigi was annoyed, and naturally looked towards the source of the voice unceremoniously. I saw a person wrapped in a black robe walking out from the other side. His face could not be seen clearly, but judging from the person's voice, it should be a man. There are power fluctuations of the Void King's third layer realm on his body. She looked almost the same as Mo Xiaoqi. The man in black robe who came out was naturally Yang Kai. He really couldn't stand it anymore. Others don't know what Mo Xiaoqi's temperament is, but he knows it well. If he doesn't handle it well this time, even people like Feixiang Palace will have scruples. He also had to attack Mo Xiaoqi for the sake of face and the reputation of the sect. It's that time. Mo Xiaoqi didn't know if he could resist it. Although there are many magical things about her, the other party has a martial artist at the second level of Daoyuan, which is enough to arouse the power of the rules of heaven and earth. Whether the secret treasure on her body can exert its effect is another matter. Facing Luigi's question, Yang Kai didn't respond. Instead he went directly to Mo Xiaoqi and said, "Miss, so you are here, but it's easy for my subordinates to find." Miss. Mo Xiaoqi's heart jumped instinctively, thinking that his whereabouts had been revealed, and his father sent someone to arrest him, so he subconsciously took something out of the space ring, ready to run away. But she soon felt something was wrong again. Because of that person's voice, she was familiar with it. Just at this time, Yang Kai showed a little bit of appearance. Mo Xiaoqi was stunned, and her beautiful eyes shone with surprise. "Ah, it's you, you're not dead." Yang Kai covered his appearance again, and said with a hey smile, "Miss, don't attack so hard next time. Although this subordinate is resistant to fighting, it can't stop your killing blow." After resting for many days, it has finally recovered. While speaking, Yang Kai winked at Mo Xiaoqi quietly, fearing that this little girl would lose her eyesight. He quickly sent her a voice transmission to her spiritual sense, telling her not to speak. Mo Xiaoqi turned his head into a chicken pecking rice. The onlookers all looked at Yang Kai sympathetically, as if they were looking at a desperate subordinate responsible for protecting the safety of his noble lady, not only had to work hard as a babysitter but also had to beware of his own lady's assassination. Miss, what happened here?" Yang Kai pretended to realize the abnormality, turned his head and looked around while asking, and immediately flew into a rage, and shouted, "Who dares to be so bold as to attack my young lady? Impatient to live. He is a warrior of the third level of the Void King, and in front of a strong man of the second level of Daoyuan, he pulled the tiger skin as a banner, without any fear, but on the contrary, he had a ferocious expression on his face, and his murderous intent was almost solidified. It overflowed, causing many people's complexions to change drastically. Okay, there are really such bold and daring people in this world. Hehehehe, I'm afraid that Master Star Envoy will come, and you won't be able to save your life." Yang Kai grinned fiercely, looking around fiercely, hiding under the black robe. His scarlet eyes looked like a wild beast. This fierce appearance alone was enough, but the information revealed in his words made Luigi's expression suddenly collapse. Even Master Xingxi is powerless to come here. What is the origin of these two people? Could it be the heir of a high-level official from the Star God Palace, the overlord of the Southern Territory? Luigi was so frightened, let alone Ningyuan City. He thought that in Fenggalan City, as the young palace master of Feixiang Palace, he was walking sideways. No one dares to mess with it at all. Unexpectedly, he suddenly provoked a noble existence that even the Star Envoy wouldn't look down upon. In an instant, Ning Yuancheng's face turned pale, his legs trembled, and he looked at Luigi imploringly. Although the latter has a powerful cultivation at the second level of Daoyuan, what is this cultivation in front of those peak forces? Anyone who came out of Star God Palace could crush Feixiang Palace into powder. He secretly swallowed his saliva, clenched his fists and said, "My friend, please calm down. It was just this girl who had a misunderstanding with my young master. A few disciples who didn't have long eyes offended this girl, but they have already been punished. If it is inappropriate, please invite this friend Haihan." "Is that so?" Yang Kai squinted at Luigi. "Exactly. Look, my friend, this girl is actually unharmed. HMPH, if Miss is injured, do you think you can still stand here and talk to me?" Yang Kai sneered. Luigi was secretly angry. After all, there was a huge gap between him and Yang Kai in terms of cultivation. No Void King realm dared to speak to him so brazenly, but he didn't dare to show it, because the other party had a lot of background, and there must be more than one Void King. The third layer is protecting that girl. Maybe there are more powerful masters in the dark. When the man covered in black robes was talking to himself, he made several inexplicable gestures in a certain direction with one hand, apparently to inform his companions of some information. Realizing this, Luigi gradually seeped cold sweat on his forehead. Because under the perception of his divine sense, he couldn't detect the existence of any strong person here at all. There was only one possibility for this situation: the strong person hidden in the dark was stronger than himself. Dare to ask this friend, where did he come from? Although Luigi was intimidated by Yang Kai, he was always a little unwilling in his heart, pondered for a while, and carefully tested Yang Kai's origin. Humph! Yang Kai spewed out a note from his nostrils, looked them up and down, and asked without answering, "Are you from Feixiang Palace?" "Yes." Luigi nodded, not knowing why Yang Kai asked this. "Want to know where we come from?" "Yes, you come here and I'll tell you, but you have to pay a price." Yang Kai smiled slightly, and then whispered, "Within 3 days, Feixiang Palace was removed from the southern region, but I don't know this. Can you afford the price?" Luigi was shocked, and his face suddenly turned pale. "Do you still want to know?" Yang Kai scorned him. It was Lu who made a slip of the tongue. "Friends, don't blame me." Luigi was completely taken aback. How could he dare to ask another word? "A group of jumping clowns, frogs in the well. I am too lazy to be as knowledgeable as you. For the sake of the young lady's safety, I will bypass you this time. If there is a next time." Yang Kai looked angry, squinting at Luigi, and stared at Luigi. He paused and said, "You understand." Luigi's whole body was drenched with sweat. He didn't care about his sect and his own face at this moment. He clasped his fists and said, "Thank you, friend." While speaking, he hastily pulled away and stood there already, as if 3 souls had gone to Ningyuan City, where 2 souls were, and shouted in a low voice, "Go!" The rest of Feixiang Palace's disciples didn't dare to stay. They quickly packed up the corpses on the ground, and followed Luigi to escape. "Miss, let's go too." Until now, Yang Kai breathed a sigh of relief, and quickly shouted at Mo Shaoqi. At this moment, this chick was staring at Yang Kai with bright eyes, with an expression of admiration, and those 2 eyes were almost full of stars twinkling. "Let's go." Seeing her appearance, Yang Kai couldn't help urging in a low voice. After all, Luigi is a Daoyuan 2nd level realm, and his bluffing may scare him for a while, but not for the rest of his life. If he wants to understand something and comes to him to prove it, it will be over. Being so presumptuous in front of a Daoyuan 2-layer strong man, how can I have any good fruit to eat? Hey, don't go, where's the agreed 50,000 source crystals? The previous seller was quite desperate for money, so he hurriedly shouted. Do you have the nerve to say 50,000 source crystals? I want your life, do you believe it? Yang Kai stared at him, and the old man smiled awkwardly, stepped back, and kept a safe distance from Yang Kai. Go! Yang Kai grabbed Mo Shaoqi's wrist, ready to take her away from this place. The next moment, he let go of Mo Shaoqi like an electric shock, and his palm was dripping with blood. Ah, I'm sorry, Brother Yang. Mo Shaoqi finally came back to his senses, and hurriedly began to apologize. To be continued. When you are away from home, just go to the mobile version. Chapter 1988 Hateful Liar. Fenggalan City, in Yang Kai's cave. Yang Kai and Mo Shaoqi sat across the table. After leaving the black market, Yang Kai took Mo Shaoqi and fled back here in a hurry. Along the way, he deliberately checked to see if anyone was following him, and at the same time took a detour. After confirming safety, he returned to the cave. Brother Yang, you are so amazing. Mo Shaoqi held his cheeks in both hands, with a nympho expression on his face, and looked at Yang Kai with beautiful eyes, not stingy with his admiration, just a few words and a few words those nasty guys frightened away. How did you do it? Yang Kai laughed dryly. If someone else asked him this way, Yang Kai would definitely think that the other party was burying him, but if these words came from Mo Shaoqi, it was a real compliment. It's because they think too much. Yang Kai said casually. Today's incident was indeed caused by the people in Feixiang Palace thinking too much, and it was also caused by the current situation in Fenggalan City. If it weren't for the mixed dragons and snakes in Fenggalan City today, whether Yang Kai's rhetoric today would have any effect is really a matter of opinion. But now in Fenggalan City, there are a lot of people from various major forces. Although Feixiang Palace is not bad, it is not the top. Of course, Luigi will have some scruples. Don't mention this, it's Shaoqi Yu, why are you here? Yang Kai changed the subject. I've been here all the time. Mo Shaoqi looked at Yang Kai inexplicably, not knowing why he would ask. By the way, the cave I rented is very close to yours, big brother Yang. Far away, but why haven't I seen you before? I haven't lived here before, and I didn't return until today. Oh, actually, I want to ask, Shaoqi, how did you escape from Yuqing Mountain last time? Yang Kai looked at Mo Xiaoqi suspiciously. After all, when he came out of the mysterious boundary orb, he searched for Mo Xiaoqi, but there was no clue at all. At that time, he thought that Mo Xiaoqi must have died, and there was no residue left from the incineration. But he didn't want to see the other party again in Fenggalan City today. That day, I used this thing to escape. Mo Xiaoqi took out something from his space ring and placed it in front of Yang Kai while talking. This is. Yang Kai narrowed his eyes, staring at the animal skin on the table that exudes a strange energy fluctuation. That energy fluctuation made Yang Kai very familiar. It was the fluctuation of space power. And the animal skin is only about the size of 2 palms, and many complicated lines and runes are carved on the animal skin, forming a magical pattern. Yang Kai stretched out his hand to touch it, feeling it carefully. After a while, he was startled. This thing has the effect of space transfer. Hearing this, Mo Xiaoqi looked at Yang Kai with a smile and said, "Brother Yang has indeed cultivated the power of space, and he can even perceive this." "You know that I have cultivated space power?" Yang Kai looked at her in surprise. "That's right, didn't you use space power when you fought against people in Yuqing Mountain?" "I discovered it at that time, because when you use power, the feeling is similar to when Uncle Li did it." "Uncle Li, it's Uncle Li Wuyi. He also cultivated the power of space, which is very powerful. This thing is made by him, so that I can use it to save my life." Mo Xiaoqi didn't mean to be wary of Yang Kai, and didn't know it was Zhongshan as easy to change and her nature as difficult to change, because Yang Kai has never had any unfavorable thoughts towards her. While speaking, she explained, "Uncle Li said that this thing can open a void tunnel at a critical moment, so it is most suitable for escaping. I originally had 2, and I used one in Yuqing Mountain last time. Now this is the only one left." When Mo Xiaoqi spoke, he showed reluctance. Can rely on a magic circle carried by a piece of animal skin to directly open the void tunnel. Yang Kai-jun was on the spot. Although his research and accomplishments in the power of space are also extremely extraordinary, but with his current ability, it is absolutely impossible to make this kind of thing. He can only use his own space power to teleport, and he is also easily disturbed. Once the energy of the surrounding world is unstable, his teleportation will not be able to exert much effect. This is related to his strength, and also related to his attainments in the power of space, and related to the laws of heaven and earth in the astral world. The laws of heaven and earth in the star realm are countless times stronger than those in the hometown star field, so Yang Kai's teleportation was greatly suppressed in the star realm. And that Li Wuyi, who was able to make such a treasure as the animal skin in front of him, was obviously beyond the reach of Yang Kai in the power of space. "Brother Yang, I'm sorry." Mo Xiaoqi suddenly apologized with guilt again. "Why are you saying this all of a sudden?" Yang Kai looked up at her. "When I was in danger last time, I originally wanted to take you with me, but Luanfeng's attack came too fast, and I could only. Later, I wanted to go inside to find you again, but I couldn't. Deep down, I thought you must be dead." Hearing this, Yang Kai laughed. On this point, he and Mo Xiaoqi had the same thoughts. They both thought that the other party would definitely die under the black flame of destroying worlds, but they didn't want each to have the means to escape. "Brother Yang, how did you escape?" Mo Xiaoqi asked. "I am proficient in space power." Yang Kai said. "Nonsense. Oh, by the way, Uncle Li said that people who are proficient in space power have first-class escape skills." Mo Xiaoqi suddenly realized. Seeing her expression of conviction, Yang Kai felt inexplicably guilty. Then, the two chatted casually again. However, under Yang Kai's intentional or unintentional inquiring, he also found out the cultivation level of Li Wuyi, and he was indeed a strong emperor senior realm. He didn't inquire about Mo Xiaoqi's background. Sometimes, the less he knows, the better for himself. Mo Xiaoqi's background is obviously extraordinary. Yang Kai knows it well. "Brother Yang, if you have nothing to do, come with me to find the treasure." Mo Xiaoqi suddenly suggested with great interest. "Treasure? Yes, yes." Mo Xiaoqi nodded repeatedly, and took out a piece of animal skin paper from the space ring while talking. "I bought a treasure map today, and the person told me that it was left by Emperor Tianchu treasure. Maybe there is a heaven-devouring battle technique in it. This thing, why does it look so familiar?" Yang Kai looked suspicious, picked up the animal skin paper and observed it carefully. The next moment, his face was black. "How much yuanjing did you buy for this thing?" Yang Kai looked up at Mo Xiaoqi. 7,000. Mo Xiaoqi smugly said, "It's not expensive, right?" If you can really find the sky-devouring method, then you will be prosperous. You profiteer. Yang Kai couldn't help cursing in a low voice. Brother Yang, what did you say? Nothing. Yang Kai coughed lightly, thought for a while, and said earnestly, Shao Qi, when you go out, people's hearts are sinister, not everyone is as gentle and kind as you, so you have to be careful in everything. I know, Aunt Feng often told me that before. In the star world, there are many people who are intriguing and deceitful, so people's words cannot be trusted. I know that too. Hey, this treasure map is fake. Yang Kai sighed softly, and had to speak clearly, expecting this little girl to comprehend it by herself. It was a bit too embarrassing for her. How could it be? That person swears that there is definitely a treasure of the great Emperor Heaven Devourer, and that is one of the top 10 emperors from a long time ago. Mo Shaoqi looked at Yang Kai incredulously, and said in a daze, could it be that the great emperor will you lie too? I don't know if the emperor lied or not, but the person who sold this thing must have lied to you. Mo Shaoqi was stunned, thought carefully, and after a while he finally understood, and said softly, damn liar, you dare to fool me, I'll go find him. Forget it, that person is definitely gone, there is a huge crowd, where are you going to find it? Yang Kai hurriedly stopped him. Mo Shaoqi immediately pursed her lips, stamped her feet while waving her fists and said, I'm so mad, don't let me see him again, or you have to make him look good. After uttering a few harsh words, her mood seemed to calm down quite a bit. After thinking about it, she took out another 7 or 8 treasure maps from her space ring, and said, Brother Yang, look at these things, they are real, fake. Yang Kai fixed his eyes on it, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help twitching. Then what about this one? Mo Shaoqi took out another object, which was a black and useless night sky stone that could only be used for viewing. Hee. Yang Kai laughed dryly. Then what about this peerless exercise? Mo Shaoqi threw another thing. Yang Kai swept his eyes and suddenly his body shook. What a book of peerless exercises, the pages are yellowed, it looks like it has aged, and there are 4 big characters written on the pages, peerless exercises. It seems that I am afraid that others will not know that this is a peerless exercise. But how innocent must a person be to be fooled into buying so many useless things after visiting the black market? If everyone in the world was like Mo Shaoqi, wouldn't those scammers have already made a lot of money? Yang Kai's silence made Mo Shaoqi extremely depressed. He buried his head in his chest, his whole body seemed to be shrouded in an invisible shadow. Seeing that she had suffered a huge blow, Yang Kai sighed softly, and was about to comfort her, let her gain some wisdom, and when she became more enlightened, Mo Shaoqi suddenly raised her head, giggling, said, this thing is definitely not fake. While speaking, she carefully took out an oval-shaped, pale blue stone and placed it on the table. Seeing her determined appearance, Yang Kai couldn't help but also became interested, and released his spiritual sense to perceive the past, but found that the thing had no spiritual fluctuations, it looked like a real stone. But what's weird is that this stone-like thing has an inexplicable force on the surface that blocks the intrusion of his divine sense. What is this? Yang Kai asked with a frown. Mo Shaoqi smiled mysteriously, beast eggs. Closing parenthesis. Chapter 1989 Chicken Ribs. This is a beast egg. Yang Kai was stunned, how do you know this is a beast egg? I just know. Mo Shaoqi shook his head and replied with a smug face, anyway, this thing is definitely not wrong, but I don't know what kind of monster's egg it is, but I can feel that it should be very powerful. Do you have a secret technique to perceive? Yang Kai looked at her thoughtfully. That's right. This is what I was fighting for with a guy from Feixiang Palace just now, maybe he also sees how extraordinary this thing is. Since you are sure that it is a beast egg, then carefully collect it. Yang Kai didn't know much about this aspect, but since Mo Shaoqi has the secret technique to perceive it, he can't be wrong. This is probably the only gain she got from visiting the black market. By the way, Shaoqi, do you know anything about the heaven-devouring art of war? Yang Kai suddenly remembered something and asked. The heaven-devouring art of war, that is the skill of the great heaven devourer, of course I know. Mo Shaoqi nodded, it is precisely this set of supreme skills that the heaven-devouring emperor relied on to step forward every step of the way. The one who reached the pinnacle and became a top emperor, in his era, the heaven devourer was an extremely powerful existence, even among the top 10 emperors, he could still be ranked in the top 3. Oh, the heaven-devouring emperor now. Emperor Heaven Devourer has long since fallen. Mo Shaoqi smiled slightly, it is rumored in the world that Heaven Devourer's warfare method is not tolerated by heaven and earth, and the emperor was rejected by the law of heaven and earth at the end of his practice, so he became obsessed and died, but I know. Speaking of this, she smiled mysteriously and said in a low voice, this is fake. What is the real truth? The great heaven devourer was besieged by people and fell into the sea of broken stars. When Mo Shaoqi said this, his expression suddenly became more solemn than ever. Yang Kai shrank his eyes, and said in a concentrated voice, the strength of the heaven-devouring emperor ranks in the top 3 among the 10 emperors, and those who dare to besiege him. Shish! Mo Shaoqi raised his index finger and put it on his mouth to signal, this is a big secret. I also heard a few words when Uncle Li and Aunt Feng were chatting. Brother Yang, don't go around, go ahead, otherwise, it is very likely that you will be killed, and there are absolutely not many people in the world who know this secret. Of course I understand this, it's just, why did those existences besiege the heaven devourer? I'm not sure about that. Mo Shaoqi shook his head. With Mo Shaoqi's character, if she really knew something, she would never hide it, since she couldn't explain clearly, then she really didn't know, and Yang Kai didn't ask more about it. It's just that Yang Kai instinctively felt that the reason why the heaven-devouring emperor was besieged might have something to do with that set of heaven-devouring tactics. From the looks of it, it's time to study the heaven-devouring tactics. Even though Yang Kai knew that Wu Mengquan had no good intentions in teaching him the heaven-devouring battle technique, it was after all the technique mastered by the 10 great emperor venerables, so it would be a pity to leave it alone. The two chatted for a while before Mo Shaoqi said goodbye and left. Before leaving, Mo Shaoqi gave Yang Kai a sound bead, and told Yang Kai that if he wanted to find her, he only needed to pour spiritual thoughts into the sound bead. Yang Kai nodded naturally, although Mo Shaoqi is too simple, but after all, he has an extraordinary background and a treasure, and in some aspects of knowledge and experience, he cannot compare with him. Maybe one day, he will be able to rely on the other party's strength. Yang Kai naturally would not refuse her kindness. What's more, everyone is now settled in Fenggalan City, deepening the relationship with each other, and it is convenient to take care of any accidents. The function of the sound bead is similar to the communication compass, but Mo Shaoqi's sound bead is specially made, which is better than the communication compass. From the perspective of the energy fluctuation, it is still a Void King level top-grade secret treasure. After sending Mo Shaoqi away, Yang Kai arranged a large number of source crystals in the cave, and opened all the forbidden formations regardless of consumption. Now that he has a lot of source crystals in his hands, naturally he won't be stingy in this regard. After ensuring safety and privacy, he sacrificed the mysterious boundary orb and entered it alone. In mysterious small world, there is still a piece of tranquility, and Yang Kai's spiritual sense is released, and the situation of the whole mysterious small world is clear at a glance. In the medicine garden, the medicinal materials obtained from the lost land are thriving and growing. These medicinal materials are all Void King level materials. If they are refined into panacea, it will be of great benefit to the growth of Void King realm warriors. Before Yang Kai was reluctant to use it, it was because in his hometown star field, these medicinal materials were extremely rare, but now that he has come to the star realm, the products are more abundant, these medicinal materials are nothing. So he decided to refine these medicinal materials into panacea, so that he could use them in his own practice. It just so happens that he can also use these medicinal materials to refine panacea, improve his alchemy skills, and see if he can break through the bottleneck of Daoyuan level. If he can succeed, then he can be promoted to Daoyuan level alchemist. In the star realm, Void King level alchemists are nothing, but Daoyuan level alchemists are definitely number 1. Yang Kai's current strength is not high. If he has the identity of a Daoyuan level alchemist as a barrier, he may be able to save his life in a critical moment. After some busy work, Yang Kai collected all the Void King grade medicinal materials, sorted them out, and prepared them to be refined into pills after going out. In mysterious Shaoji, apart from these medicinal materials in the medicine garden, there are still the mother body of the demon worms collected earlier and the strange fruit of the ice flower obtained from the bottom of the ice cliff. The area where the ice flower and strange fruit is located is unstoppably cold, but the mother body of the monster worm is sleeping there happily, as if it is absorbing the strange cold power emanating from the ice flower and different fruit to strengthen itself. After this period of recuperation and integration, the wounds of the monster worm mother who had turned into a blood beast healed a lot, and the original wounds, large and small, on her body also showed signs of healing. After all, although the body of the monster worm mother body is dead, Yang Kai's pure golden blood has a strong recovery ability. And what surprised Yang Kai the most was that the Ziqing twin swords that Mo Shaoqi had given him before had begun to fuse with the body of the demon worm's mother body. The purple and green double swords are top-grade Void King level secret treasures. The two swords are combined into one, comparable to ordinary Daoyuan level secret treasures, and it is of ice attribute, which is most suitable for the use of monster mothers. When I got the purple and green double swords in Yuqing Mountain that day, Yang Kai threw it into mysterious Shaoji without hesitation. Looking at it now, there are signs that the two long swords have merged with the two pincers that were broken in front of the demon worm's body, and they have become one. This is a very strange thing. Yang Kai only wanted to find a suitable weapon for the monster worm mother, so he threw the Ziqing twin swords in. Thinking about it carefully, although the demon worm mother body is now his own blood beast, the ignorant wisdom in its body is transformed by the sword intent, and it has a natural affinity for the sword-shaped secret treasure. Blood beast, psychic sword intent, monster body, when these kinds of things are completely mixed together, Yang Kai doesn't know how to describe such a monster as the monster mother body. It's a pity that it doesn't have real intelligence, and it's not considered a living thing, otherwise, Yang Kai would be looking forward to how far it can grow. After observing the monster worm's body for a while and confirming that it was all right, Yang Kai searched for a place, sat cross-legged, took Yuan Ning pill, and meditated in his mind while transforming his own source power. He wants to comprehend the heaven-eating art of war that Wu Mingchuan taught him. At that time in the bone prison, although he reviewed this set of exercises a little bit, and felt the power and incredibleness of this set of exercises, he didn't have much time to study it carefully. Moreover, after Yang Kai learned of the great origin of this set of exercises, he also felt Wu Mingchuan's malicious intentions, and he was not very willing to practice such exercises. But not cultivating does not mean that it is useless. The stones from other mountains can be used to attack jade, and perhaps a glimmer of mystery can be glimpsed from this set of exercises. Yang Kai quickly entered a state of ecstasy. Now that he has practiced, he has come into contact with a lot of secret arts and skills, and he has some insights and eyesight. But after comprehending it, he found that this heaven-devouring art is more mysterious and powerful than any secret art he has come into contact with. Swallow everything with aura in the world and turn it into your own use. When you reach the peak, you will achieve the body of an emperor. Even the sun, moon and stars in the sky can be swallowed. Yang Kai was shocked. The heaven-devourer great emperor who created this set of exercises is definitely a lunatic. He even wanted to devour and refine that star, even the sky and the earth. But after thinking about it, Yang Kai admired the great heaven-devourer very much, and regardless of whether he was crazy or not, this person must have the talents of the world, otherwise he would not be able to create such a technique anyway. There are rumors in the world that the heaven-devouring art of war is not tolerated by heaven and earth, but it is not a rumor. This kind of cultivation technique really cannot be tolerated by the heavens and the earth, and cannot be tolerated by other emperors. In the end, Emperor Tianchu was besieged by other emperors and fell into the sea of broken stars, which is his own fault. Buddha A. Yang Kai was keenly aware of the inappropriateness of this set of exercises. Devouring and refining all things with aura in the world for one's own use sounds tempting, and it can also make people grow rapidly in a very short period of time, but this kind of unrestrained devouring and refining is bound to be accompanied by huge consequences, hidden dangers. The energies of all things are different, and if they are swallowed into the same body, if there is no strong ability to withstand and transform, it will only cause conflicts of different energies in the end, and it is inevitable to go crazy. The most obvious example is Wu Mingchuan. The old guy was perverse, cruel and violent, and even his loyal subordinates would kill as soon as they said it, without blinking their brows, which was obviously related to practicing this set of exercises. Moreover, if this set of exercises is really so miraculous, then Wu Mingchuan would not be at the third level of Daoyuan until now. I'm afraid he has already cultivated to the Emperor Senior realm. It's tasteless. Yang Kai let out a long sigh. It is a pity that such a set of top-notch exercises fell into his hands, but it became useless to keep and a pity to discard. Anyway, he would never make fun of his own future and practice this heaven-eating method. There is not only one road to Emperor Zun. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to read. Chapter 1990 Tailor-Made. Just when Yang Kai was feeling sorry for the heaven-devouring art of war, a flash of inspiration suddenly appeared in his mind, and an idea that inspired him emerged. The sky-eating method can devour the spiritual things in the world and turn them into their own use. The innate supernatural power of the stone puppets is that they can devour and refine all kinds of minerals, discard the chaff and save the chaff, and strengthen themselves. The two are surprisingly similar in some respects. Moreover, stone puppets are not made of flesh and blood. In terms of adaptability and endurance, what creatures in the world can be stronger than them? Just say Xiao Xiao, even the true essence of the sun can be devoured and smelted, not to mention other things. What would happen if the stone puppet clan were to practice the heaven-devouring art? Generally speaking, it is impossible for the stone puppets to practice any exercises, because although they are extremely talented and extremely powerful, their minds are too low, and it is impossible for them to comprehend the mysteries of any exercises, let alone talk about them practice. The Creator is extremely fair, endowing the stone puppets with a strong physique, great destructive power, and even a very high growth rate, but obliterated most of their intelligence. If the stone puppet clan also has high spiritual intelligence, then they will surely become a race comparable to the ancient Holy Spirit, and all members will be like this, which is an extremely terrifying thing. But, Yongkai has a law body. The Dharma body was originally transformed from a golden stone puppet, which merged with the entire suspended continent, and it was where Yongkai's distraction was stored. The Dharma body is equivalent to Yongkai's second body. Just because the stone puppet clan can't practice exercises doesn't mean that Dharmakaya can't. Thinking about it, Yongkai's blood began to boil, and he suddenly discovered that facing the heaven-devouring battle technique, the Dharma body has such a unique cultivation advantage. He hurriedly moved his mind slightly, took back the ray of distraction stored in the Dharma body, and then poured the heaven-devouring battle technique and his previous comprehensions into the distraction, and then he came to the place where the Dharma body was. Land. Distraction shot out again, pouring into the huge mountain-like Dharmakaya. Immediately afterwards, the Dharma body assumed an extremely weird posture, with a solemn treasure appearance, and began to practice the sky-eating battle method. Initially, there was no change, but as time passed, there was a sudden cracking sound inside the huge body. Yongkai was slightly startled, he thought it was something wrong with his cultivation, but he carefully perceived the distracted side. However, it was found that this was not the case. The crackling sound continued, and then there was a rustling sound. Large pieces of rock-like things fell from the Dharma body, and when they hit the ground, they turned into dust and flew around. Yongkai's eyes lit up, and he couldn't help grinning. The heaven-devouring art of fighting is really extraordinary, it is simply a superb skill tailor-made for the stone puppet clan. Because those things that fall from the Dharma body are all impurities and useless things that have been swallowed up. The Dharma body merged with the entire hanging continent at the beginning, and has been using the stone puppet clan's innate supernatural powers to refine it for the past few years. Unfortunately, the progress is very slow, so the body has always been extremely large, and it is inconvenient to move. Yongkai fought many times, and never thought about using the Dharma body. It was for this reason. Its body is too huge, trying to get it out of the mysterious boundary bead requires a lot of spiritual power. How could Yongkai use it when it was not a last resort? According to the previous progress, Yongkai estimates that it will take at least 10 or 20 years before the Dharma body will gradually shrink to a height of more than 10 feet. At that time, the Dharma body can be used at will. But when it really comes to that time, Yongkai's strength must be more than the current level. How much help can a Dharma body comparable to the Void King's third order realm be able to exert? In fact, Yongkai has been having a headache for the Dharma body, but he has no good solution, so he can only ignore it. But now, a set of heaven-eating tactics seems to be able to solve this problem. The heaven-devouring battle technique, combined with the stone puppet clan's innate supernatural powers, made the speed of the Dharma body's refining impurities suddenly increase sharply. Countless discarded impurities fell from the Dharma body, but the essence remained, and the shell of the Dharma body seemed to be peeled off. Maybe it won't be long before Dharma body can become another great help in Yongkai's hands. It's not over yet. The most exciting thing for Yongkai is that the Dharma body also has a set of exercises that can be cultivated to become stronger. The stone puppet clan couldn't cultivate in the first place, they could only devour minerals through innate supernatural powers to strengthen themselves. This is how Xiao Xiao grew up. But now, the Dharma body not only has the innate supernatural powers of the stone puppet clan, but also has the assistance of the heaven-devouring battle technique. With the two-pronged approach, as long as the materials are supplied, its strength can be greatly improved in a very short period of time. Patter. At the place where the Dharmakaya was, a meteorite rain began to fall, and countless impurities fell off from it, and quickly piled up on the ground to form a thick layer. Yang Kai didn't need to pay more attention to it if he was distracted from presiding over the cultivation of the Dharma body. So Yang Kai quickly began to cultivate with peace of mind nearby, transforming the source power in his body with heart. Now that the starlight in his body has been exhausted, if he wants to speed up the transformation of source power, he can only use Yuan Ning pill. Although the effect is slower than that of starlight, the Yuan Ning pill refined by Yang Kai is of high quality, so it is not bad, and, for some reason, he consumes the Yuan Ning pill faster than ordinary void pills. Wang Jing is going up a lot soon. Ordinary Void King 3rd level warriors, taking one Yuaning pill is enough to support about 3 days of cultivation, that is to say, within these 3 days, the medicinal effect of Yuaning pill will always be effective. But Yang Kai ran out in 1 day. When he thought about it, he could only think of the reason for the Star Master's body. The body of the Star Master, perhaps in terms of the speed of source power transformation, is faster than the general Void King realm. Therefore, the consumption of Yuan Ning Dan is also large. But this is a happy event for him. Now he doesn't need to worry about Yuan Ning Dan, he can refine it after using it up. The most urgent thing for him now is to fully transform the source power as soon as possible, improve his combat effectiveness, and reach the goal of being promoted to Dao Yuanjing standard. Time flies, 7 days passed. Yang Kai walked out from the mysterious boundary bead. With a sweep of his spiritual mind, he immediately noticed that someone had touched the traces of his cave's restriction, and after checking outside, Yang Kai couldn't help frowning, took out his identity plate, and closed all the restrictions. Outside the cave, a man dressed as a waiter waited anxiously, holding a communication compass in his hand, as if he was constantly communicating with someone. When he was restless, Yang Kai's voice suddenly came from his ear, "Come in." The waiter in the store was taken aback when he heard the words, and then he was overjoyed, and quickly pushed the door open and entered. "I've met Pill Master Yang." The waiter hurriedly saluted. "You're welcome, shopkeeper Kong asked you to come to me. Is there something wrong?" Yang Kai asked while looking at him. The waiter in this store is the buddy of Spirit Pill Workshop. Yang Kai has seen it a few times, so he recognizes it. The shopkeeper said that you can go to Dianfeng after you leave the customs. He has something important to discuss. The shopkeeper Kong is back. Kong Saran was invited by the city lord's mansion to accompany him to Yuqing Mountain to investigate the situation of the place where Luanfeng appeared. Yang Kai knew this, but there is now a black flame there, and he is destined to find nothing. Counting the time, it's almost time to come back. The shopkeeper returned the day before yesterday. "Alchemist Yang, if you have nothing to do, why don't you go to the alchemy workshop to have an interview with the shopkeeper first? The shopkeeper has already urged you many times." The waiter accompanied him with a smiling face. "Okay, I'll go there now." Yang Kai nodded. Although he didn't know why Kong Saran was in such a hurry to find him, he also knew that something must have happened, otherwise, it would be impossible for the buddy to keep guarding the door of his cave. There is no need to pack anything. Yang Kai immediately left the cave, and rushed to the Spirit Pill Workshop with the waiter. Not long after entering the alchemy workshop, Kong Saran immediately pulled Yang Kai into a secret room. Seeing his mysterious look, Yang Kai couldn't help asking suspiciously, "What is shopkeeper Kong doing?" Kong Saran chuckled, and said, "Pill Master Yang, something good has happened." "What good thing?" "Master Xingxi wants to give us a chance. Do you think this is a good thing?" "What do you mean?" Yang Kai frowned. What Kong Saran said was so vague, it was hard for him to understand. "The thing is like this." Kong Saran poured a cup of tea for Yang Kai, and said, 3 days later, Master Star Envoy will open the 5-color pagoda in Fenggalan City." 5-color pagoda? Yang Kai was even more at a loss. What is that? Kong Saran suddenly opened his mouth wide, as if he was a little surprised that Yang Kai had never even heard of the 5-color pagoda, but when he thought about Yang Kai's previous ignorant deeds, he quickly felt relieved, patted himself on the head and said, "It was Kong who was confused and didn't explain it clearly to Alchemist Yang." "Don't blame Alchemist Yang." Yang Kai's expression was awkward. Knowing that Kong Saran was saving face for himself, he didn't say a word, and looked at him seriously. "The 5-color pagoda is an imperial treasure." "Emperor treasure?" Yang Kai raised his eyebrows. "That's right, and among the emperor treasures, it's also an extremely high-level existence." Kong Saran smiled slightly, as if he was satisfied with Yang Kai's expression, but, the 5-color pagoda is a very special emperor treasure. It doesn't attack ability, and no ability to defend. A. Can't attack, can't defend, so what can it do? Use it for cultivation. Although Yang Kai is a little ignorant about the star realm, he still knows some common sense. The function of the secret treasure is nothing more than attack and defense. Since it is neither, then it can only be used for cultivation. Almost. Saran said with a chuckle, the 5-color pagoda is used for training, and it has always been a treasure for training that only fighters from the Star God Palace are eligible to enter. Listen to shopkeeper Kang's meaning. Could it be that the interior of this 5-color pagoda is a world of its own? Yang Kai immediately thought of this possibility. Saran looked at Yang Kai in surprise, and said with admiration, Pill Master Yang really has a keen mind and quick thinking. Yes, the interior of this 5-color pagoda is indeed a world of its own, and it is an extremely mysterious world. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to read. Chapter 1991 5-Color Pagoda. Chapter 1991 5-Color Pagoda. After listening to Saran's explanation, Yang Kai understood the whole story. The 5-color pagoda is the supreme treasure of the Star God Palace, and it is even famous among the stars. This is not only because it is an emperor treasure, but also because it is extremely special. The interior of the 5-color pagoda is a self-contained realm, somewhat similar to the mysterious boundary orb, but more complete than the mysterious boundary orb in Yang Kai's hand. It is rumored that the 5-color pagoda was born in the hands of Mingyu, the master of the Star God Palace, but in fact, the 5-color pagoda had its own prototype before Mingyu became famous. It's just that it was acquired by Emperor Mingyu and refined and improved to form the final form. The space inside the pagoda is said to be an ancient battlefield, and there are many ancient treasures and spiritual herbs left in it. The terrain in the battlefield is treacherous and changeable, and it has been stored inside the Star God Palace. It is the favorite place for the disciples of the Star God Palace. An easy-to-reach training place. As long as the disciples of the Star God Palace meet certain requirements, they can go to the interior of the 5-color pagoda to practice. There, you can refine your own cultivation, improve your fighting skills, and understand the mysteries of the laws of heaven, martial arts, and domain laws. Although the 5-color pagoda has existed for countless years, and countless warriors have entered it to practice and seek their own opportunities, the treasures inside have always only increased. There is no other reason. It is not without risk to enter it. Many disciples of the Star God Palace fell inside. The space rings carried by those warriors naturally became the remnants of the 5-color pagoda. Among them, the warriors are looking for the target. The entire 5-color pagoda is divided into 5 floors. The first and second floors can be experienced by Void King Realm warriors, the third and fourth floors can be experienced by Daoyuan Realm warriors, and the highest 5th floor, it allows Emperor Senior Realm warriors to practice in it and pursue the Dao. Inside the pagoda, there are not only hidden ancient secret treasures and spiritual herbs that have grown for countless years, but the most fascinating thing for warriors is the power of the law of heaven and earth and the origin of the stars that are occasionally fleeting. Because there is a dilapidated ancient battlefield. In the ancient times, countless powerful and strange warriors fought in it, breaking the world, shattering the stars, and breaking the law. Therefore, inside the pagoda, the power of the broken law and the incomplete origin of the stars, there are also many. Both of these are not complete, but there are many mysteries and wonders in them. If they are enlightened by warriors, they will have a huge effect on any warrior. Warriors practice. After Void King Realm is Daoyuan Realm, they must start to understand the law. But Daoyuan Realm warriors can only simply use the law, truly use the law for their own use, and follow the law, that is the Emperor Prestige Realm. Mysteries that can only be touched. In the Star Realm, countless Void King Realm fighters have completely transformed their body source power, but they still cannot be promoted to the Dao Origin Realm. The biggest shackle is that they cannot understand the laws of heaven and earth. It is also for this reason that warriors who are Star Lords are welcomed in the Star World. For example, Yang Kai had already experienced the laws of the dark stars heaven and earth as early as when returning to the Void Mirror. Although it was only the law of a star of cultivation, it could not be compared with the great laws of the entire world, but one method can pass all laws. Yang Kai can be regarded as the first glimpse of the door. He will not have too much bottleneck in the promotion of the source of Tao in the future, and even the promotion of Emperor Senior has a unique advantage. However, this kind of welcome is not only from the appreciation and expectation of the strong, but also from jealousy and plunder. The deeds of Yin Lesheng of Huang Quanzong are the best portrayal. So Yang Kai will not reveal the secret of his Star Master. Speaking of it this way, Pill Master Yang should understand how much the opening of the 5-color pagoda will benefit us, right? Kong Saran asked with a beaming face. Understood. If this is the case, then the 5-color pagoda is indeed a good place to go. Yang Kai nodded. It's more than that. Kong Saran smiled slightly. You know Alchemist Yang, this time there are dragons and snakes mixed in Fengalan City, and there are countless forces, big and small, so after Lord Star Envoy made the decision to open the 5-color pagoda, those top how dare the power not show 1 or 2. Treasurer Kong means. Yang Kai was shocked, and suddenly thought of a possibility. Hey, don't hide from Pill Master Yang. Tianwu Holy Land, Wuhua Palace, Qingyang Temple and many other forces each took out a batch of precious materials and put them in the space inside the pagoda. There are not only panacea, but also secret techniques. There are even Daoyuan level secret treasures. Yang Kai's eyes lit up all of a sudden. If this is the case, then the entire Fengalan city will probably be boiling. In the past, those warriors who practiced themselves or came from a low background wanted to get some benefits from the big forces. It was almost impossible, but this time, such a big good thing happened. Countless treasures were hidden inside the pagoda, just waiting for fate. People are looking for them. Why don't many warriors flock to them? Tianwu Holy Land even took out 3 Daoyuan fruits and threw them into it. Kong Saran's expression suddenly became excited, and even his voice became trembling. Alchemist Yang, as an alchemist, the effect of Daoyuan fruits may be more powerful than that of alchemists. Everyone should know. The Daoyuan fruit that refines Daoyuan pill. Yang Kai exclaimed. Exactly. Kong Saran couldn't restrain the trembling of his hands, and the teacup he picked up spilled water all over the floor. Daoyuan fruit, only a few top forces in the entire star world can cultivate it, and in the southern territory, even the Star God Palace does not have Daoyuan fruit trees. The Tianwu Holy Land is the only one with no semicolons. Only 6 Daoyuan fruits come out every 10 years. 3 are taken out this time. The Holy Land is really bleeding a lot this time. Treasurer Kong wants this source fruit. Seeing his expression was different, Yang Kai immediately had a guess. Of course I want it. Kong Saran said with a wry smile. To tell the truth to Pill Master Yang, this old man has been stuck in the Void King's 3rd layer realm for more than 200 years, and this old man also knows that his aptitude is not high. In this life, I am afraid that I will stop outside the Daoyuan realm, but if there is a Daoyuan fruit, the old man can also hit the bottleneck. No matter whether he succeeds or not, there is always a glimmer of hope. Although Kong Saran is the treasurer of the Spirit Pill Workshop, he is considered a member of the Ziwen Chamber of Commerce, but because he is not strong and his status in the Ziwen Chamber of Commerce is not high, so there is no way to get such things as Daoyuan pill from the Chamber of Commerce. A Daoyuan pill can create a Daoyuan realm martial artist, and the Ziwen Chamber of Commerce will not give it to its subordinates at will. It must have corresponding credit. Kong Saran would stay in Fengalan City for another 100 or 200 years, and if he made certain achievements during this period, he might have the possibility of being bestowed with the Daoyuan pill. Yang Kai could somewhat understand Kong Saran's excitement. Because a Daoyuan fruit can be refined into a batch of pills, and the limit of a batch of Daoyuan pills is 9, so as long as he can get the Daoyuan fruit, no matter who he asks for refining, he can at least get 1 or 2 Daoyuan pills. Dance. Once he is promoted to Daoyuan, his status in Ziwen Chamber of Commerce will be completely different, and he will not have to stay in such a small place as Fengalan City all the time. Not to mention Kong Saran's desire, Yang Kai also has a demand for Daoyuan Dan. Once he completes the conversion of his source power and gets a glimpse of the secrets of the law, he will be qualified to advance to the Daoyuan realm, and then the Daoyuan pill can greatly increase the success rate of his breakthrough. Pill Master Yang, the 5-color pagoda and his party, you probably won't stop going, right? Kong Saran calmed down, looked at Yang Kai and asked. Such a grand event, it is natural to go to see the excitement. Yang Kai smiled slightly. That's good, that's good. Kong Saran laughed loudly. If you miss this time, you won't be able to enter the 5-color pagoda in your life. However, shopkeeper Kong, if that's the case, then this trip will be extremely dangerous. You and I are both at the 3rd level of the Void King, so you don't have to worry about facing enemies at the Void King's level. The Master of the Origin. Hee, Alchemist Yang filtered it. Kong Saran smiled and waved his hand. It's not so easy to open the 5-color pagoda. The Star Envoy is kind-hearted this time, and he specially graciously allowed my warriors from Fengalan City to enter, but how could all the pagoda be destroyed? Open. This time, only the 1st and 2nd floors will be opened, So only warriors of the Void King realm and below the Void King realm can enter it, and no warriors of the Tao Origin realm will enter. Is that so? Yang Kai was stunned, but after thinking about it, I can understand it. No matter how you say it, the 5-color pagoda is an emperor's treasure. Opening it once will definitely consume a lot of energy. No matter how powerful the Star Envoy of the Star God Palace is, it is impossible to open all of them. In that case, the Star God Palace would suffer a great loss. But if this is the case, Yang Kai would like to hear it. As long as there are no warriors in Tao Origin realm, then he doesn't have to be afraid of anything. He just needs to be careful of the dangers inside the pagoda. That's right, I was in a hurry to call Pill Master Yang over here, just to tell you about this. The news has not been officially spread, only those who followed Master Xingxi into Yuqing Mountain know. I also got it from Lord City Master. Since Pill Master Yang knows the news, please make preparations early. Thank you, Shopkeeper Kong, for reminding me. Yang Kai said gratefully. Pill Master Yang, you are too polite. Without you, the future of Dianfeng will be worrisome. This can be regarded as a little repayment for the old man. Don't worry about it, don't worry about it. Since this is the case, then Yang will leave first. I really want to go back and prepare. Yang Kai got up and said. See you in 3 days. Kong Saran clasped his fist slightly. Yang Kai nodded and quickly left the spirit pill workshop. Returning to his cave again, he took out the medicinal materials collected from the Shaoxuanji medicine garden before, and immediately began to refine the elixir. Although those who entered it were warriors of the Void King realm and below, Yang Kai was not worried about encountering too strong enemies, but the more things like spirit pills, the better. In case of any situation at that time, they can also be used for emergency treatment. There are a lot of medicinal materials, and he refines them one by one without distraction. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to read. Chapter 1992 Princess Lanzun. On the second day, the news that the 5-color pagoda, the treasure of the Xingshan Palace, was about to open spread in Fenggalan City. Countless martial artists cheered and praised the generosity of the Star God Palace, but only a few Daoyuan experts were indignant. After all, they have nothing to do with the opening of the 5-color pagoda this time. For a while, the pharmacy, secret treasure store and many other shops in Fenggalan City were overcrowded. 2 days later, the 5-color pagoda was opened. The warriors naturally wanted to be fully prepared, and did not hesitate to spend a lot of money to buy a large number of life-saving and recovery panaceas. Even the secret treasures that they were reluctant to buy before, this time they gritted their teeth and shot. To do a good job, you must first sharpen your weapon. Every warrior understands this simple truth. If they want to gain something in the 5-color pagoda and escape unscathed, they must make more and more comprehensive preparations. Mo Shaoqi obviously also got the news, and was very interested in it, and specially notified Yang Kai with the sound beads, and agreed with him to enter the 5-color pagoda together in 2 days. Yang Kai agreed, feeling a little guilty in his heart. Mo Shaoqi came to notify him as soon as he got the news, but he knew it in advance and forgot to notify Mo Shaoqi instead. She is going to 5 Colors Pagoda, Yang Kai certainly won't stop her. Although this girl is simple enough, she can even be said to be ignorant of world affairs, but she is full of treasures. Like a hedgehog, no one in the Void King realm may do anything to her. Yang Kai continued to concentrate on alchemy. At the same time, the city lord's mansion. In a secret room, a man and a woman sat cross-legged facing each other. The man was about 40, with a deep breath and a majestic appearance. He was wearing a black robe, and the chest was embroidered with a starry sky logo with silver thread. Although the stars were dead, they looked real, twinkling and magical, mysterious. Silver Star Envoy. The only one who dares to wear this kind of clothing is the Silver Star Envoy of the Star God Palace, and the logo embroidered with silver thread is exactly the characteristic of the Silver Star Envoy. In the Star God Palace, Star Envoys are divided into 3 classes. From top to bottom, they are Venus Envoys, Silver Star Envoys and Bronze Star Envoys. Even the lowest level of Bronze Star Envoys requires a strong person at the first level of Emperor Senior. This middle-aged man who looked about 40 was actually a Silver Star Envoy, which indicated that his cultivation base had reached the 2nd level of Emperor Senior realm. And the legendary Venus Envoy is a strong person at the 3rd level of Emperor Senior. For so many years, the number of times Venus Envoys have been dispatched by Xingshan Palace is very small, and even many ordinary emperors have never seen the existence of Venus envoys. And in the entire Star God Palace, there are only 3 Venus envoys, and no one knows where they are or what they are doing. On the opposite side of this silver star envoy, sat cross-legged a woman in her 20s. The woman had bright eyes and white teeth, picturesque eyebrows, a head of jet black hair that was soft and straight, and her beautiful eyes were like a pool of clear water without any impurities. The woman was dressed in blue. The skirt is decorated with luxurious and trivial gemstones. These gemstones are not even ordinary things, and each one emits wonderful fluctuations of power. She sat there cross-legged, her black eyebrows slightly condensed, and her aura fluctuated, sometimes resonating magically with the laws of heaven and earth. She was already on the verge of breaking through. The woman's cultivation is at the peak of the Void King's 3rd layer realm, and if she breaks through, it will naturally be at the Daoyuan realm. His Royal Highness, are you all right? Although the 40-year-old man is a strong second-tier Emperor Venerable, when facing this woman who is at the peak of the Void King, his tone is still respectful, which obviously shows the identity of this woman. The status is not low. When the woman heard this, she nodded lightly and said, "It's fine for the time being." "Hey, Your Royal Highness, you are too capricious." The Silver Star Envoy had an annoyed expression on his face. "You actually tricked me with a fake face and left the Star God Palace with me." He was punished by the Emperor. The woman stuck out her tongue when she heard the words. "Uncle Shao, don't be afraid. Zuner will plead with you when the time comes. You are father's old brother, he will definitely not really punish you." Xiao Yuyang squinted at Lan Xuan, gloated and said, "You are in danger now, what else can you ask for me?" The Emperor said, "After you return to the shrine, you will be imprisoned for 10 years. 10 years. Lan Xuan exclaimed in surprise, and wailed, "It's better to kill me, it's too boring to stay in the shrine all day, so I thought of coming out to play." "Then you should choose a good time," Xiao Yuyang said with a wry smile on his face as if you were helpless. "You clearly know that you are about to break through, why don't you stay in the shrine with peace of mind, instead you want to take the risk of leaving?" When Lan Xuan heard this, he couldn't help lowering his head, and muttered, "Didn't I hear that the Holy Spirit appeared? I haven't seen the Holy Spirit yet, so I just wanted to come and see the excitement." "You are the Emperor's daughter, with a body of 10,000 gold, are you afraid that you won't see the Holy Spirit in the future? If it's really impossible, let the Emperor take you to Long Island as a guest, there are Holy Spirits everywhere." "What's so interesting about a few big snakes?" Lan Xuan said indifferently. "Several big snakes." The corners of Xiao Yuyang's mouth twitched, and the powerful man at the 2nd level of Emperor Zun was speechless for a while, and sighed, "Forget it, you can't suppress the aura of breakthrough now, send it off. It is too late for you to return to the Star God Palace." The Emperor also agreed to let me open the entrance of the 5-color pagoda here. The Emperor will activate the real pagoda there at the same time, allowing you to enter and break through. In order to deceive people, he even declared that it was me. The Xingshan Palace sent a chance to the warriors of this city, and finally fooled those guys from Tianwu Holy Land, Wuhua Palace and Qingyang Temple to help. Otherwise, I would not be able to achieve this level with my own strength. It's just that you must be careful when the time comes. I will use mystic techniques to send you directly to the 3rd floor, where you can find a good place, understand the ways of heaven and martial arts, and absorb as much as possible of those broken laws of heaven and earth and the origin of the stars. This will be of great benefit to your future growth." "I know. Do you understand how to pull those broken laws of heaven and earth and the original power of the stars?" "Well, my father taught me before, and I even learned a set of secret techniques." "That's good, but it's a pity. Your Highness, you are not a Star Lord. If you succeeded in refining the source of the star a few years ago, you should get more benefits this time." Lan Xuan pursed her lips and smiled. "Uncle Shao is not the body of the Star Master, he has also cultivated to the 2nd level of the Emperor. Although the body of the Star Master has many conveniences in the process of cultivation, it is not without it. Xuan, my son, is very confident in himself, and one day he will be able to reach the height of his father." Xiao Yuyang's expression was shocked when he heard the words, and he laughed loudly. "Okay, it's good that your Highness has such ambitions, but it's a pity that your Highness is not a man." Lan Xuan immediately snorted, "So what about being a man? Am I worse than those men?" What Uncle Shao means is that if you are a man, Uncle Shao will definitely have a good time with you." Xiao Yuyang is such a character, the topic changes quickly, and there is no sense of abruptness. "I don't want it, it's smelly, and I don't know what to drink." "Hee hee." Xiao Yuyang didn't say anything more on this matter, but solemnly warned, the most important thing for Her Royal Highness this time is to break through the current realm. Of course, if you have enough time, you can also practice on the 3rd floor. There are still many good things on the 3rd floor, there are many treasures, even if we old guys enter it, we may not be able to get it. In the 5-color pagoda, chance and good luck are the most important, and the level of strength is actually second. Sooner keep it in mind. 2 days passed by in a flash. On that day, Fenglan City was extremely lively, and everyone gathered towards the huge square in front of the city lord's mansion at the same time. Returning to the Void Mirror and Void King realm, everyone was beaming. On the contrary, other warriors except for these 2 realms, they all looked gloomy and sullen. Without him, Dao Origin realm powerhouses are not allowed to enter the 5-color pagoda this time, and warriors below the Void Returning Mirror do not think they have the strength to enter, so naturally they will not join in the fun, and even many Void Returning Mirrors do not have the guts. Those who have the courage to enter the 5-color pagoda are those who put life and death aside and are ready to seek opportunities inside. In front of the city lord's mansion, a high platform has been built at some time. On the high platform sat several warriors of different ages. When everyone looked at them, they all looked respectful and admiring. After all, those few people are all strong at the Emperor Senior Realm level. If they don't reach the Emperor Senior Realm, they are not qualified to be seated at all. Even Duan Yuanshan, the Lord of Fenglan City, can only bend over, laugh with him, and stand aside. Duan Yuanshan is a strong man at the 2nd level of Daoyuan. Normally, he is definitely the king of Fenglan City, but at this moment in front of these emperors, he dare not even take a breath. Time passed quietly. More and more warriors gathered. Everyone was looking around, looking for the legendary treasure of the Star God Policia, the 5-color pagoda, wanting to get a glimpse of its true face. It's a pity that no matter how hard they searched, they didn't get anything. However, some insiders spread the news that the real 5-color pagoda is not here, nor was it carried by the Master Star Envoy. Although this is the southern territory, no one dares to disrespect the Star God Palace. After all, it is the town palace. Why would you carry it with you? The opening of the 5-color pagoda this time is mainly because the Star Envoy united with many emperors, relying on great supernatural powers, and cooperating with some masters from the headquarters of the Star God Palace. The 2 sides work together to open up the passage into the 5-color pagoda. So even if the pagoda is not here, it can still be entered. Yang Kai stood among the crowd, listening to the conversations of the warriors around him, and soon learned the news. This dispelled his doubts. He originally thought that the Star Envoy of the Star God Palace carried the 5-color pagoda with him, but no matter how much he thought about it, he couldn't figure out why, and now he finally understood. While waiting, someone patted on the shoulder, and then, Mo Xiaoqi's voice came over, "Brother Yang." Yang Kai turned his head and saw Mo Xiaoqi standing beside him with a smile, and beside her, countless warriors grinned and looked at her with fear. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to read. Chapter 1993 Old Liar. Using a hedgehog to describe Mo Xiaoqi couldn't be more appropriate, so wherever she passed, the warriors all suffered unbearable pain and avoided them one after another. For a time, the place where she and Yang Kai were located formed a vacuum zone with a radius of 5 feet, and no one dared to approach it. "Brother Yang, I found you. There are so many people here," Mo Xiaoqi said while turning his head to look around, as if a country bumpkin entered a big city, full of novelty everywhere. Yang Kai looked at her with a smile on his face, and said softly, "Xiaoqi. What's the matter?" Mo Xiaoqi turned his head. The next moment, Warong paled, covered his mouth with his little hand, pointed to Yang Kai's shoulder and said, "Ah, Brother Yang, your shoulder is bleeding. Whoever sneaked up on you, Mrs. Hateful." "It's okay, it's okay." Yang Kai's face was calm and breezy, as if he was used to it. After a little practice, he stopped the flow of blood, and said, "Just don't touch me casually next time, otherwise I might lose too much blood and die." Mo Xiaoqi was stunned for a moment, and soon blushed, lowered her head and swayed, holding the corners of her clothes with both hands, as if she could play tricks. "Ha, Pill Master Yang, so you are here." At this moment, Kong Saran's hearty laughter came from the side. Yang Kai turned his head to look, and saw shopkeeper Kong striding forward. "Treasurer Kong." Yang Kai cupped his fist slightly. Seeing Pill Master Yang's confident look, Kong is relieved. It seems that Pill Master Yang has prepared well this time. Yang is content only to be able to get out of the body. Pill Master Yang is humble, there are countless opportunities in the 5-color pagoda, and Pill Master Yang will definitely return with a rewarding experience. This girl is. Oh, Xiaoqi is my friend. Yang Kai introduced Mo Xiaoqi to Kong Saran. Although Mo Xiaoqi was innocent, he was not familiar with him, so he just nodded slightly and stood quietly on Yang Kai's side. Beside Pill Master Yang, I asked the Lord from the headquarters of the Chamber of Commerce to inquire about the news. This time we enter the 5-color pagoda, we may be separated and unable to join hands. Kong Saran said, a little disappointed. Yang Kai moved his head and asked, could it be that after entering it, the location where it appears is not fixed? He has also entered various secret realms and independent spaces more than once, so he is quite experienced in this area. When Kong Saran said this, he thought of a possibility. That's right. Kong Saran nodded solemnly, the space inside the 5-color pagoda is an ancient battlefield. The laws of heaven and earth are severely broken, and there are many uncertain factors, so even warriors who join forces to enter it will appear in different places. Position. Previously, the old man still wanted to work with Pill Master Yang, but now it seems that it is an extravagant hope. Yang Kai smiled slightly and said, we can't join forces, and I'm afraid others won't be able to join forces, so that's fine, everyone depends on their own abilities. Pill Master Yang is right. I also thought of this, so I came here to inform you that you must be careful when you enter the pagoda. In the 5-color pagoda, there are many traps and restrictions that are borne by the heavens and the earth. Void kings like us fall if you enter it, you will most likely die. Countless disciples of the Star God Palace fall into it every year, so don't be careless. Thank you Shopkeeper Kong for reminding me, I must be careful. Yang Kai nodded slightly. The two stood still and chatted casually. By the way, Shopkeeper Kong, who are those sitting on it? Yang Kai gestured to the high platform in front of the city lord's mansion with his eyes, and asked. Kong Saran laughed, and said, actually, I only know 3 of them. The second from the left is Mr. Lu Kai, the vice president of my Ziwan Chamber of Commerce, and the third is Mr. Zheng Yuan, the vice president of the Qiao Chamber of Commerce. The one in the middle is Lord Xiao Yuyang, the Silver Star envoy of the Star God Palace. As for the rest, the old man only knows their origins, not their names. Yang Kai nodded, and when he was about to say something, Mo Xiaoqi's voice came from beside him. The first one on the left is Chen Wenhao from Tianwu Holy Land, the one on the right is Feng Ming from Wuhua Palace, and the second one on the right is Gao Shueting of Qingyang Temple. Yang Kai and Kong Saran looked at Mo Xiaoqi in astonishment. You know all of them? Yang Kai asked. Mo Xiaoqi giggled. I have seen many names and portraits of Emperor Senior Realm powerhouses, so I know a little bit. Except for Silver Star Envoy Xiao Yuyang, who is in the 2nd-tier Emperor Senior Realm, all of them are it's the first level of Emperor Zun. Young lady is very knowledgeable, I admire you. Kong Saran clasped her fists in admiration. Mo Xiaoqi quickly waved his hands, it's nothing. Yang Kai's expression moved slightly, because when Kong Saran introduced those Emperor Senior stage, even if others couldn't hear him, he added the address of an adult at the end to show respect, but Mo Xiaoqi directly called those Emperor Senior stage the name. It can be seen that this girl doesn't care too much about these strong men. But, at this moment, in the small Fenggalan city, there are actually 6 Emperor Senior Realm powerhouses gathered. It seems that the top forces in the entire southern region are present. This is an eternal event. No wonder even the city lord Duan Yuanshan stood aside with a smiling face. Before the time came, many warriors did not dare to show even though they were anxiously waiting, and not many people dared to speak loudly in the square in front of the city lord's mansion. After all, there were 6 Emperor Senior Realm powerhouses sitting on it, who would dare to act presumptuously here? But there is a guy who doesn't know how to live or die, selling things here. 9-turn resurrection pill, the top healing holy medicine, hurry up if you want to buy it. Flesh and bones, living dead, as long as there is still a breath, the entrance of the elixir, life and death, there are only 3 pills in total. It is a family treasure and cannot be sold. Hands are fast and hands are slow. Nothing. A cry suddenly sounded in the crowd. All the warriors were stunned, and immediately rushed towards the source of the sound. If one were to say which elixir was the most popular in Fenggalan City in the past 2 days, the answer would obviously be all kinds of healing elixir. After all, many warriors want to enter the 5-color pagoda, who can guarantee that they will not get hurt in it? Therefore, warriors have already sold out all the healing pills in the major shops, causing the price of all healing pills in Fenggalan City to increase by 3 times, but the supply is still in short supply. No matter how expensive the price is, can it compare to your own life? Maybe a healing pill can save his life at a critical moment, and the warriors will naturally not be stingy with themselves. As early as last night, the healing pills in Fenggalan City were sold out, not to mention the high-grade healing pills, even the most common pills were all sold out. And at this moment, on this square, someone shouted that they were selling the 9 Revolutions Resurrection Pill, which has the effect of resurrecting the dead. How could it not attract everyone's attention? This voice. Yang Kai and Mo Shaoqi looked at each other, and they couldn't help being suspicious. Why does it sound familiar? Come and buy, 9 turns resurrection pill is made from the legendary undead liquid as the raw material. As you know, the undying liquid is the essence condensed from the tree of immortality. 1,000-year drop is worth more than 10,000-year stone milk is even more precious than 10,000 times. It is supplemented with many rare medicinal materials, and it is personally refined by an emperor-level alchemy master. If you pass by, don't miss it. The cries are still going on. Yang Kai suddenly remembered who the owner of this voice was. And Mo Shaoqi obviously reacted, gritted his silver teeth, and said angrily, "It's that old liar." While talking, he has already rushed out. Relying on the advantage of his human-shaped hedgehog, Mo Shaoqi forced his way through the bustling crowd, rushed directly in front of the seller, and shouted coquettishly, "You old liar, you are here to deceive people again. Look at me. I'm not going to teach you a lesson today." The seller looked up and recognized Mo Shaoqi, and his heart skipped a beat. Before Mo Shaoqi could make trouble, he pointed at Mo Shaoqi's back and widened his eyes, as if seeing a goddess descending from the earth. The light, shining brightly, exclaimed, "Wow, 5-color pagoda." Everyone was overjoyed when they heard the words and looked back. Where is there any 5-color pagoda? It is empty over there. I've been fooled again. Mo Shaoqi quickly realized and turned around. There is no sign of the old liar in the same place. He has long since disappeared without a trace. I'm so mad. Mo Shaoqi stomped his feet angrily. 100 feet away, somewhere in the crowd, an old man with a wretched appearance, row-headed mouse eyes, sloppy clothes, and a goatee exhaled softly, and said to himself, "It's really dangerous. I almost got caught. My life, why is it so hard? The little girl is too much, and a mere few thousand source crystals want to chase and kill my old man. Wow, it's really hard for me." Feeling sorry for himself for a while, he suddenly tugged on the clothes of a man beside him, and said in a low voice, "Brother, you are also going to enter the 5-color pagoda. Do you need a holy medicine for healing to be safe?" Oh, the old man sells the holy medicine for healing. The man suddenly became interested. Hey. The old man grinned, revealing a mouthful of big yellow teeth, mysteriously took out a jade bottle from his clothes, and said mysteriously, 9-turn resurrection pill, the entrance of the spirit pill, life and death, passed down by the ancestors. Brother, please look. Seeing Mo Shaoqi walking back angrily, Yang Kai knew that she must have returned without success. But Yang Kai felt very strange, because at that time in the black market, he also had some contact with the old man, and he didn't find anything strange about him. But after Mo Shaoqi killed him just now, his divine sense has been locked on the old man. But in just an instant, the old man got rid of his tracking and disappeared in place. The old guy is not a fuel-efficient lamp. This made Yang Kai very surprised. After all, his power of divine sense is far beyond his current cultivation base, and he has almost reached the level of Daoyuanjing. The other party can still get rid of it miraculously, which shows that the old man is not an ordinary person. But having said that, most people don't go around bluffing and deceiving, and even use some tricks that are easy to be exposed. To be continued, this text is provided by the Breaking Dawn Update group at Ahixi. If you like this work, you are welcome to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1993 5-Color Pagoda. In a flash, it was noon. On the high platform, Duan Yuenshan, who had been bending over and laughing, walked quickly to Xiao Yuyang, asked a few words in a low voice, and after getting an affirmative answer, he turned around, raised his breath, and shouted loudly, "Friends of Fenggalan City, please be quiet." As soon as everyone heard it, they immediately understood that the meat scene was coming, and immediately kept silent, and looked towards the high platform. Duan Yuenshan smiled slightly, clasped his fists and said, "Thanks to the gift of Lord Xiao, the Silver Star Envoy from the Star God Palace, to open the 5-color pagoda in my Fenggalan city, and to get the help of Tianwu Holy Land, Wuhua Palace, Qingyang Temple, Ziwan Chamber of Commerce and 7 Luminaries Chamber of Commerce. I invested a lot of geniuses and earth treasures, secret exercises, secret treasures of martial arts. My lords, today, I am grateful from all over Fenggalan city, and I will remember it in my heart. My lords, I hope that my lords will improve their martial arts to a higher level in Japan. I wish my lords. As soon as Duan Yuenshin opened his mouth, he was eloquent, praising and flattering. Obviously he had been prepared for a long time. But before he could finish speaking, Xiao Yuyang frowned impatiently and said, "Stop talking nonsense and focus." Although he was reprimanded in front of countless warriors in the city, Duan Yuenshin did not dare to express his dissatisfaction. Instead, he quickly nodded in agreement, pondered for a while, and continued, "The time has come, my lords, please open the 5-color pagoda. In the pagoda, life and death, wealth and honor are all in peace." After the words fell, the 6 emperors stood up one after another. Under the high platform, the eyes of countless people also turned to the 6 people. Xiao Yuyang, who was in the middle, let out a long cry, and suddenly pinched a mysterious magic art with both hands, which attracted the energy of the surrounding world to buzz, and the majestic coercion poured out from his body, making many Void King Realm warriors yearn for and be shocked at the same time. Fear. Not only the Void King Realm warriors, but even the other 5 Emperor Senior Realm stared at Xiao Yuyang intently at this moment, as if they wanted to get some clues from his movements. Xiao Yuyang's movements were extremely fast, his hands were flying, leaving only afterimages, making him look like he had grown countless arms. With a soft drink, Xiao Yuyang suddenly pointed his hand forward. Somewhere in front of it, a mysterious rune pattern suddenly appeared. Immediately afterwards, Xiao Yuyang continued to use his fingers as his brush, the laws of heaven and earth as his ink, and the void as his cloth to slowly present runes one by one. As soon as these runes appeared, they began to flow according to certain laws, just like living things. The sound of chi 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 sounded continuously. An inexplicable force sputtered into the void, rushing towards the 4th level. Not long after, a huge rune pattern in a circle with a radius of about 10 feet appeared in everyone's eyes. Xiao Yuyang shouted again, "Thank you, everyone." As soon as his voice fell, the other 5 emperors moved in a flash, and under the flickering figure, they stood in 5 different positions respectively. The 5 of them used their own methods to pour their own pure into the rune pattern. And a huge source of power. The whole pattern began to spin around. And as the power of the 6 Emperor Senior Realm powerhouses poured in, the pattern turned faster and faster, making people feel a little dizzy and uncomfortable after taking a look at it. The faces of the 6 emperors were solemn, and the power poured into them seemed to consume them a lot. After a while, except for Xiao Yuyang, the faces of the other 5 turned pale look. Fortunately, this process did not last long. When the huge rune pattern suddenly turned into a light gate and stabilized, Xiao Yuyang shouted again, "Please act." As the words fell, a palm flashed away from the gate of light. In the dark, it seemed that some barrier was shattered. Inside the stable gate of light, the shadow of a pagoda suddenly appeared. The pagoda exuded 5 colors of light. I don't know how high it is, but no one can see its true face. 5-color pagoda. Under the high platform, the warriors who saw this scene exclaimed, their eyes widened, and they greedily looked at the tower emitting colorful rays of light. That is obviously the treasure of the Star God Palace, and also the Emperor treasure of the entire Star World, the 5-color pagoda. Countless people have only heard of the rumors of this tower, but have never seen it with their own eyes. Not only have they seen it now, but they will also enter it later. Thinking of this, all the warriors couldn't help breathing fast. Everyone has worked hard. Xiao Yuyang exhaled softly, and nodded slightly to the other 5 people. Those 5 people seemed to be extremely exhausted. Hearing this, they didn't say much, but returned to their original place in a flash, closed their eyes and adjusted their breath. But at this moment, a space ring appeared in Xiao Yuyang's hand. He smiled slightly, threw the space ring into the light gate, and shook his backhand. The space ring shattered in an instant, but from inside the ring, hundreds of lights of different colors suddenly appeared, shooting towards the 5-color pagoda like arrows leaving the string. This it's a treasure brought out by those big forces. I saw a secret treasure. Wow, shouldn't that be the Daoyuan fruit? If I can get this fruit, I can also be promoted to the Daoyuan realm. There are only 3 Daoyuan fruits, but there are tens of thousands of friends gathered here. Can you get Daoyuan fruits? If I can't get it, don't even think about it. ... After learning that those rays of light turned out to be treasures brought out by several top forces and placed in the 5-color pagoda, everyone became excited, especially the existence of Daoyuanguo, which stimulated the nerves and blood of these Void King realm warriors the most. Although excited, no one dared to act without authorization. After all, Xiao Yuyang was still staring over there. Xiao Yuyang smiled slightly. Everyone, you can enter. After his words fell, how could the warriors who had been waiting for a long time hold back? They used their body skills and secret techniques one after another, and rushed towards the light gate, fearing that they would be a step behind. For a while, the plaza in front of the city lord's mansion was extremely noisy and chaotic. Before they even started to enter, some fighters fought for the order of priority. Xiao Yuyang didn't care about this, but his eyes were fixed on a certain woman in the crowd. Seeing that woman looking towards him, he nodded slightly, flicked his fingers secretly, and a soft force hit the woman. The three of Yongkai were also mixed in the crowd, being squeezed by the chaotic flow of people, suffering unspeakably. However, those warriors who accidentally touched Mo Xiaoqi were in great trouble, as if being pricked by a sharp needle. The pain was endless, and they avoided it one after another. Yongkai looked at it, and immediately gave Mo Xiaoqi a wink. Mo Xiaoqi understood, and went ahead without hesitation. After some twists and turns, he finally broke into the vicinity of the light gate and rushed into it. The familiar feeling of long-distance teleportation hit again. Yongkai stabilized his consciousness and remained unmoved. After a while, his eyes flashed, and he came to a very special environment. He immediately noticed that the aura of heaven and earth here is not strong, but relatively thin. But in this world, there is a kind of power that makes warriors flock to it, the power of law. Although the power of law here feels strange, it is not as complete as the outside world, but a fragmented state, but precisely because of this state, it allows people to better comprehend and understand. No wonder the 5-color pagoda can become a must-see experience place for the disciples of the Star God Palace. Under this special environment, the warriors of the Star God Palace can touch the threshold of the law more easily than others, although the power of the broken law is also weak. The shortcomings make people unable to gain insight into the real mysteries, but it is the most suitable way to introduce people. After the warrior Void King realm comes the Daoyuan realm, and if you want to advance to the Daoyuan realm, you must understand the laws of heaven and earth. There is such a treasure as the 5-color pagoda in the Star God Palace, and the disciples in the palace are at least 30% easier than others to advance to the Dao Source realm. This is an extremely terrifying possibility. Yongkai had just finished turning his thoughts, when he heard a miserable scream coming from not far away. Startled, he quickly turned his head to look. Suddenly found that not far from him, a warrior who arrived here first was bitten by a crocodile-like monster, and the blood spurted outward like a fountain. The warrior covered his throat with his hands, but nothing could stop the flow of blood. In addition, there are more crocodile monsters biting his thighs and arms, dragging him frantically under the grass. Gululu. In the blink of an eye, the martial artist disappeared, leaving only muddy mud and waves like sewage. This is a swamp, and the warrior who had the misfortune obviously arrived here before himself, but after he was teleported, he felt dizzy for a short time, and before he could react, he encountered a poisonous hand. In the situation just now, even if Yongkai wanted to make a move, it was too late. These ferocious beasts hiding under the swamp moved too fast. Wow! With a soft sound, Yongkai's corner of his eye immediately caught sight of a ferocious crocodile beast that looked exactly like the martial artist he killed just now. Jumping out from the bottom of the swamp, a pair of beast eyes were full of scarlet color, and looked ferocious. Terrified, he opened his bloody mouth and bit towards his throat. With the lessons learned from the previous martial artist, how could Yongkai dare to neglect? At the same time as his figure flashed, he bravely swung a fist, and the colorful rays of light bloomed on the fist, hitting the crocodile's head directly. Bang! As if hitting something made of gold and iron, the flames splattered, and the crocodile fell back after being hit, and fell upside down into the quagmire in front of it. But it didn't die immediately, but with a flick of its tail, it got into the bottom of the quagmire. Yongkai didn't have the time to release his divine sense until this time. The next moment, his complexion couldn't help but darken. Under his perception, where he was, in all directions, there were countless life waves exuding a fierce aura, lurking under the grass and mud, approaching him silently. These things are obviously the same existence as the crocodile beast just now, and their individual strength is actually not that strong. It is about the level of the peak of the 9th order monster, which is equivalent to the 3rd layer of Void Return. Such a monster is really not in Yonkai's eyes. But, there are too many of them, Yonkai really doesn't want to get entangled with them. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to read. Chapter 1995 Alter. Chapter 1995 Alter. If someone like the martial artist just now is teleported here, it is very likely that they will encounter misfortune. After all, not every Void King realm can ignore the discomfort of teleportation like Yonkai. They will be more or less dizzy for a while. As soon as he thought of this, Yonkai immediately threw himself lightly, wanting to leave quickly. But something happened that he never expected. Even though he was less than 3 feet high, a huge pressure suddenly came from the void, like a mountain being pressed down from the sky, directly pressing him back to the original place. He didn't even have room to resist. Forbidden air formation. Yonkai's face darkened, and he immediately reacted. When comprehension introduced the situation inside the 5-color pagoda to him before, he once said that there are many natural or unnatural restrictions and traps in the 5-color pagoda, is one of the most common. In these forbidden positions, warriors cannot fly too high. Once they exceed a certain height, these restrictions will take effect and suppress the warrior's back. What Yonkai encountered just now was the rebound of the forbidden air formation. It was only for a while, and he didn't know whether the air forbidden formation here was artificially arranged or naturally generated. He didn't have time to think about it, because the moment he fell, countless lurking crocodile beasts leapt up from all directions, and rushed towards him. Their bloody mouths looked chilling, creepy. As soon as Yonkai's strength turned, both fists came out together, and in an instant, the sound of bang 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 was endless. In the blink of an eye, he knocked away dozens of attacking crocodiles, but the vitality of these things turned out to be extremely tenacious. Even if they were hit by Yonkai head-on, they were not killed in one blow, instead they all turned around and drilled. It disappeared into the mud. And more crocodiles rushed forward one after another. Soon, Yonkai's body was covered with crocodiles, on his arms and thighs. It was painful to be bitten. Crocodiles are born with an astonishing bite force. Even ordinary beasts cannot be taken lightly. What's more, these are all monsters whose strength has reached the peak of the 9th rank. Ordinary Void King realm, even if it is resisted by luck, it can't resist the bite of a crocodile monster. Fortunately, Yonkai's physical body was strong, and the immortal 5 elements sword body was running, and the fierce 5 elements sword chi caused those crocodiles to be injured a lot. Many crocodiles had blood splattered from their mouths, so they had no choice but to let go of Yonkai. But Yonkai was still dragged by those crocodiles and sank into the mud. The water is cold and dark. The most important thing is that this is not clear water, but turbid mud. Even if Yonkai opened his eyes, he couldn't see much. The deeper the sinking, the more and more crocodiles are besieging, and they can't help feeling dizzy. Secret technique, Moon Blade. 10 fingers flicked down, and a series of dark moon blades flew out, accompanied by a chi-chi-chi-chi-chi sound. Yonkai's pressure was greatly relieved. In the mud, there were bright red blood and dead crocodile corpses, all of which were incomplete. Open the magic eye. When Yonkai opened his eyes again, his left eye was a golden color, and his vision finally recovered a lot. Under the perception of divine sense, instead of repelling these crocodiles, his massacre attracted more crocodile monsters because of the bloody smell and noise. I don't know how to live or die. Yonkai was furious, thinking about his current strength. He wouldn't be in such a hurry even in the face of a normal Tao origin realm, but because of being careless for a while, he was brought into such a situation by a group of monsters. This made him a little annoyed. With a wave of his hand, Yonkai directly released the demon worm mother who was still repairing his body in mysterious Shaoji, and issued an order with his spiritual sense. The monster worm mother body is now regarded as Yonkai's blood beast, and has its own ignorant intelligence, so it is natural to strictly obey his orders. With a swing of the purple and blue swords, accompanied by the flickering of the 2-color light, waves of swords were set off. Kachacha. The icy mood filled the air, not only made Yonkai involuntarily fight a cold war, but also the crocodile monsters who besieged them became slower. The brilliance flashed, the sword light surged, each crocodile monster was chopped into 2 pieces, and died instantly. Even the crocodile a little far away was not spared. With the purple and blue swords in hand, the monster mother body seems to have greatly increased its strength. Even if it does not use Shui Ruoqing's secret technique, it can still shine with the simplest sword moves. Yang Kai snorted coldly, and just as he was about to take the opportunity to get out of trouble, the corner of his eye suddenly caught sight of a strange place. In the depths of the swamp, there is a place that exudes a clear light. Divine sense probed the past, and found a trace of not weak energy fluctuations. Yang Kai couldn't help but his eyes lit up. He urged the power to protect his body, and dived down. The monster worm mother body was like a loyal guard, following Yang Kai's side, and if anyone came to disturb him, the sword light would split the enemy into two. Not long after, Yang Kai went deep down and came to the place where the clear light was emitting. With the help of the power of the world-exterminating demon eye, he finally saw clearly what this thing was. It was actually a palm-sized thing that looked like a Ganoderma lucidum. What is this? Yang Kai looked blank. Although he has a deep understanding of the medicinal materials in his hometown Starfield, he still feels that he is not knowledgeable enough after coming to the Star Realm, especially in terms of spiritual herbs and wonderful medicines. He has never even heard of many things. He had never seen or heard of the Ganoderma-like thing in front of him. While observing, the clear light turned green. After a while, it turned red. After pondering for a moment with his limited cognition, Yang Kai was sure that he really didn't recognize this thing, but judging from the energy aura it emitted, it was definitely a Daoyuan-level medicinal material. Let's pick it first. Anyway, the medicine garden in mysterious Shaoji is still there. Transplant it, and one day I will be able to figure out its type and function. Thinking of this, Yang Kai immediately started. After a while, he transplanted the Ganoderma-like medicinal material into the medicine garden in mysterious Shaoji. After doing this, he was not in a hurry to go out, but continued to search around. It really made him find a few more identical herbs. Half a day later, Yang Kai rushed out of the swamp, followed closely by the monster worm mother body. Along the way, countless crocodile and monster beasts floated on the surface of the water, and the swamps that stretched for hundreds of miles were already stained red with blood. It seems that the ferocity and toughness of the monster worm mother's body deterred those crocodiles and monsters, or maybe they were almost killed. Yang Kai finally did not encounter many attacks and came out of the water smoothly. This time he didn't act recklessly, but flew up to a height of 1 foot above the water and headed towards the layman. There are many types of air-forbidden formations, some completely prohibit flying, and some have restricted flying heights. Judging from the first encounter, the air-forbidden formation here is undoubtedly the latter type, so as long as it does not exceed a certain height, you can fly. Will not trigger a large array. The area of the swamp seems to be very large, and Yang Kai flew for half a day before finally flying out. The mother body of the demon worm had already been taken back by him. The monster worm body is still in the process of repairing the body, and it is not good for it to enter the battle prematurely, and Yang Kai does not want others to see that he has such a help. The current monster worm body can be regarded as his biggest killer, naturally the more concealed the better. The space inside the 5-color pagoda does not know how vast it is. Tens of thousands of warriors in Fenggalan City entered this place, and Yang Kai did not meet a single person all the way. He looked around, but he couldn't find his target, so he was a little disappointed. This should be the first floor of the 5-color pagoda. Saran told him that after entering the pagoda, try to go to the second floor. For a warrior of the 3rd level of the Void King, it is naturally better to go to the 2nd level. And the way to enter is to look for a 5-color beam of light that connects the sky and the earth. Yang Kai has been looking for the so-called 5-color beam of light, but he didn't find it, which made him a little disappointed, and he didn't know where to look for the 5-color beam of light. Just as he was looking around, the earth suddenly hummed, and immediately trembled violently. Deep in the earth, there seemed to be the sound of thunder rolling past, deafening. Yang Kai's face changed, and he quickly turned his Saint Yuan, looking around vigilantly, lest there would be a change. There is no special situation around, but at that extremely far position, a phantom of a real dragon suddenly appeared. The real dragon is indefinitely long, its body is fiery red, its tail is swaying, it rushes straight up to the clouds, then falls down at an extremely fast speed, and then disappears without knowing where it landed. Yang Kai's eyes brightened. He never expected that in the first floor of the 5-color pagoda, there would be a phantom of a real dragon. It was definitely not caused by any secret technique, but the real dragon phantom, and it even had something to do with the real dragon secret treasure, because when the real dragon phantom appeared, Yang Kai clearly felt a heat in his chest. On his chest, a real dragon scale was fused and refined. And that piece of dragon scale is echoing with something in the distance at this moment. Yang Kai immediately realized that this might be a great opportunity. No wonder there are rumors that in the 5-color pagoda, opportunities are everywhere, and those who enter it can get a lot of benefits if they are lucky. If they are unlucky, no matter how powerful they are, it is useless to enter more times. As soon as he thought of this, he no longer hesitated, and immediately rushed towards the place where the vision came from at an extremely fast speed. The location where the true dragon phantom appeared was far away from where he was, and even with Yang Kai's full strength, it took 3 hours to arrive. Looking up, Yang Kai couldn't help but stay. Because a lot of warriors have gathered here, roughly counting, there are hundreds of them, and there is an endless stream of warriors who have seen visions like him. This is a valley-like terrain, and in the very center of the valley, there is a building that looks like an altar. Signs of dirt renovation. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to read. Chapter 1996 Rising Dragon Altar. On the ancient and desolate altar, there are more than a dozen unknown objects. Those unknown objects are all covered by a layer of misty light curtain, as if a bowl was stuck on it, and through the misty light curtain, although the light curtain is not very clear, you can still see some prototypes. The things shrouded in the light curtain are surprisingly diverse and all-encompassing. There are secret treasures in the shape of hammers, swords, and daggers, as well as secret books of exercises that are yellowish in color, and some jade bottles that look old at first glance. Everything looks very good, especially those secret treasures, which exude extremely powerful energy fluctuations, and the lowest are Daoyuan level secret treasures. This made Yang Kai look hot. Not only him, but the other warriors who rushed here also looked at the altar full of greed and covetousness, each of them became greedy. These things, are they the things that those big forces put here? Maybe Dao Yuanguo is here. A warrior's voice suddenly came from the side. That's not the case. Someone continued, I came earlier, and I heard that this altar suddenly popped up from the ground, and it didn't exist in the first place. It seems that some friend touched the prohibition here. Let the altar appear, and the things on it all exude an ancient atmosphere, and they are definitely not invested by those major forces. So, isn't the thing on this altar already here? Is it a treasure left over from the ancient times? Maybe so. Then what are you waiting for? Grab it quickly. The treasures left over from the ancient times are still so well preserved, and their value is simply incalculable. They are countless times more valuable than the treasures put in by those major forces. As soon as the news spread, many warriors immediately became excited. Many martial artists who wanted to observe for a while couldn't hold back any longer, and they mustered up the courage to rush forward. Their movement immediately touched the nerves of others, and more martial artists began to take action. Even Yang Kai started to move, but he didn't rush in the first row, but fell behind in the middle, so that he had enough time to observe the movement of the warriors in front, so as not to accidentally fall into the Inwet trap. Wait a minute, everyone. At this moment, a loud shout came suddenly, and immediately, a handsome young man in white suddenly flew into the sky. This young man's lips are red and his teeth are white, he looks talented, his eyes are bright, and he has an extraordinary bearing. Everyone, please calm down and listen to me. The young man shouted again. Many warriors frowned and looked up impatiently. After all, the treasure is right in front of them. At this time, someone suddenly stopped them from advancing. It is really uncomfortable. Blocking people's money is tantamount to killing their parents. This kind of enmity cannot be shared. But when everyone saw this person's face clearly, many people stopped in place obediently, and some others also showed a sudden look. So it's Mr. Zhang Chuhei. Among the crowd, a martial artist who recognized the young man clasped his fists and said, I don't know what Mr. Zhang means. Could it be that he wants to rely on the power of the Zhang family to monopolize the treasures on this altar? If so, if you don't I ask Mr. Zhang not to say more, eh? Exactly, treasures are destined to live here. Although the Zhang family is considered good in Fenggalan City, this place is a 5-color pagoda. If Mr. Zhang wants to dominate, please weigh it. Someone immediately echoed. Hearing what they said, Yang Kai immediately understood the identity of this young man. People from the Zhang family in Fenggalan City. In Fenggalan City, under the city lord's mansion, there are also some clan forces, among which the Zhang family is quite powerful and has an ancestor at the first level of Daoyuan. Although Yang Kai didn't have any dealings with the Zhang family, but in Yuqing Mountain, he had seen the corpses of several Zhang family warriors who were killed by Xiao Luanfeng. This time, it can be said that all those who entered the five-color pagoda were warriors from Fenggalan City. Naturally, many people knew Zhang Chuhe, and even if they didn't, they had heard his name. But, just like what that person said, if they were in Fenggalan City, everyone might still care about the strength of that ancestor of the Zhang family and sell Zhang Chuhe to save face, but in this five-color pagoda, how can the people of the Zhang family have any deterrent power? What's more, the treasure is right in front of you. Humans make money and birds die for food. It has been the principle since ancient times. Let alone Zhang Chuhe, even if the ancestor of the Zhang family came in person, these hundreds of virtual kings would be happy and fearless. Zhang Chuhe was not annoyed, and said with a smile when he heard the words, "This friend is serious. There are hundreds of comrades gathered here. Even if Zhang has the courage of the sky, he would not dare to offend the public, monopolize treasures or something, but Zhang never thought about it, eh? Then what does Mr. Zhang want to do?" Zhang Chuhe continued to laugh and said, "Zhang just wants to tell you that where there are benefits, there must be risks, not to mention, here is the five-color pagoda. Do you think that the things on the altar are really easy to get? If so, I'm afraid the things are long gone, so why wait for people like you and me to collect them? Of course we know this, but, if there is a risk, if you don't hesitate to move forward, then why do you practice? I have already prepared myself mentally." The person who spoke before snorted coldly. "This friend is so brave." Zhang Chuhe smiled at the man, and then changed the subject. "But, friends, should I first ask what is this altar?" "The so-called know yourself and your enemy and you can win 100 battles. This is the first time I entered this five-color pagoda, how do I know what this altar is?" The man shook his head for a while, but soon, he looked at Zhang Chuhe in amazement and said, "Does Mr. Zhang know? If so, please invite Mr. Zhang, feel free to teach me." Zhang Chuhe shook his head. "Zhang doesn't know either, but I think, someone here should know." While speaking, he turned his head to look somewhere in the crowd. With a smile on his face, he said, "Miss Qin, what do you think?" Everyone followed his gaze, and immediately saw a woman in the crowd, surrounded by some warriors and stars. The woman was not very old, about 25, petite and exquisite, and seemed to have a what kind of disease. His complexion is sallow, his body is thin, and his lips show some signs of paleness. If there were no such factors, and if she had a plumper figure, she would definitely be a beauty who could overwhelm all living beings. Even so, a woman is like a flower swaying in the wind and rain, arousing people's pity. Seeing Zhang Chuhe divert everyone's attention to herself, Miss Qin raised her eyebrows, revealing a hint of annoyance, and all the warriors around her glared at Zhang Chuhe, very dissatisfied. "Miss Qin, that Miss Qin Yu from the Qin family?" There was an exclamation from the crowd, as if this Qin Yu was very famous. "I have heard that Miss Qin Yu has read a lot of books since she was a child, and she is very knowledgeable, especially about the secrets of the world. I wonder how much Miss Qin Yu knows about this altar. Please don't hesitate to enlighten me. I am very grateful to all my colleagues." Zhang Chuhe's face was like a crown of jade. He smiled gently, and ignored Qin Yu's annoyance and the glaring guards around her. Yang Kai's complexion changed, and he suddenly understood Zhang Chuhe's intention to show off at this time. This guy obviously wanted to inquire about the situation of the altar. However, if he went to ask that Qin Yu alone, he might not be willing to say it, but now that he has made such a move, Qin Yu is on the verge of riding a tiger under the eyes of everyone, so he has to say it even if he doesn't want to. No one wants to be outraged. This Zhang Chuhe is quite clever, but this method is a little despicable. There are not a few warriors who want to understand like Yang Kai, but because it is related to their own interests, they don't point it out. Instead, they look at Qin Yu with great interest. "Yes, Miss Qin, so many friends are here. If you know something about this altar, please tell us. Is there any murderous intent or danger here? I will be grateful." Under the gaze of countless pairs of eyes, Qin Yu seemed a little uncomfortable, or maybe the wind was too noisy here. She couldn't help coughing for a while, and covered her mouth with a handkerchief. "My young lady has been ill since she was a child, so she shouldn't talk too much, please forgive me." Beside Qin Yu, a 40 to 50-year-old guard with a third-level Void King's expression turned cold, and he clasped his fists away. Qin Yu stretched out his hand to signal, and said softly, "It's okay, since Mr. Zhang and all your friends want to know, then let's talk about it myself. I don't know what disease she has. Not only does she look listless, she also speaks weakly, which makes people feel really worried. But when she heard that she was willing to talk about the situation of the altar, everyone couldn't help being shocked and looked at her expectantly. Miss Qin has indeed heard of this altar, and Zhang admires it. Zhang Chuhei's eyes also brightened. What he did before was just a tentative attempt, but he didn't expect it to be wrong. On the one hand, he also hoped that Qin Yu would explain it in more detail so that he could understand the altar. On the other hand, he was afraid that others would get the information and compete with him, so his mood was extremely complicated for a while. This is the Rising Dragon Altar. Qin Yu came slowly. The first floor of the 5-color pagoda was full of silence, only Qin Yu's weak voice drifted with the wind, take a fish to jump over the dragon gate, and become a dragon. Quote. This ascending dragon altar, the time when it appears is not fixed, and the location where it appears is extremely erratic. It may be on the 1st floor, or it may be on the 2nd floor, or the 5th floor. It is rumored that it has existed in ancient times. So, even if people from the Star God Palace enter here, it will not be easy to see the ascending dragon altar. According to the records of the Star God Palace, the Rising Dragon Altar has only appeared 8 times in total. Every time it appears, it will be accompanied by the appearance of some rare treasures. If I can get one of them, maybe I can jump into the dragon gate. It is not impossible to cultivate to the realm of Emperor Zun. Fish jumping over the dragon's gate. The Emperor's realm. Many warriors whispered, their eyes shining. Most of the fighters in Fenggalan City are the bottom group. Although their strength is not too bad, but because they don't have any background and backing, it is almost as difficult as going to the sky if they want to go further above the Void King realm. But Qin Yu's words gave them hope, as if there was a broad road in front of them, leading directly to the throne of Emperor Zun. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to read. Chapter 1997 Long Way Oppression. After Qin Yu finished speaking, countless warriors were ready to move. Although I thought that the treasures on the altar were not bad, but I didn't have a definite belief. In addition, there are so many warriors here, no one dared to act rashly, lest they would cause death. But now hearing what Qin Yu said, everyone's minds became active. The temptation of being able to achieve the realm of Emperor Zun is enough to make them risk their lives. There were also some people who remained calm and asked loudly, may I ask Miss Qin, what's so dangerous about this dragon altar? Danger definitely exists, maybe it can cost me my life. But what kind of danger is there? Qin Yu can't know it. After all, this 5-color pagoda is the treasure of the Star God Palace. There are very few records about the contents in the classics, and it is the first time for me to enter, so. Hearing this, everyone showed disappointment. Although everyone knew that Qin Yu must have something to say, but he had already revealed a lot of information, and it was the best of benevolence. If he tried to force him now, he would be blatantly offending the Qin family. They are all warriors who live in Fenggalan City, who would be willing to offend others, or they will be settled by others. However, it is said that the Dragon Rising Altar is a secret treasure, and it is made of dragon bones, so if you want to get close to the Dragon Rising Altar, you must resist the dragon from the ancient real dragon, coercion and oppression. Not knowing what was in his mind, Qin Yu added another sentence. Forged from Keel, the oppression of the ancient dragon's might. A group of people exclaimed. At this moment, a chi-chi-chi-chi sound suddenly came from not far away, coming through the air at an extremely fast speed. Everyone was startled, they instinctively used their power, and looked around. The next moment, someone exclaimed, it's despicable and shameless, it's disgusting to act in such a sneaky way. It turned out that when everyone's attention was attracted by Qin Yu, when she introduced the Rising Dragon Altar, a warrior from some unknown force actually hid his figure and aura, and quietly approached the Rising Dragon Altar. Their secret technique of concealing their aura and figure is extremely profound, and none of the people present discovered it. If it wasn't for the sudden change in the Ascension Dragon Altar, I'm afraid no one will notice when these people take away the treasures on the altar. But at this moment, these people all showed their figures, not many, only 4 or 5. Divided into several directions, they approached the Rising Dragon Altar cautiously. I don't know which unlucky guy triggered the prohibition near the Dragon Rising Altar. From above the altar, a burst of profound light suddenly shot out, bombarding these people. When those people didn't notice for a moment, 2 of them were killed on the spot, their bodies were shattered into pieces, and the remaining few saw the situation was not good, they hurriedly evaded, naturally they couldn't hide, and suddenly revealed their bodies. Fortunately, the ban on the rising dragon altar doesn't seem too strong. After evading for a while, the 2 or 3 surviving people lived together peacefully. They looked at each other, saw their whereabouts revealed, gritted their teeth, and continued to move forward without asking any questions. Raid. Damn it, it's a ghost dancer. A group of jumping clowns dare to covet treasures, they really want to die. The treasure is mine. Seeing someone approaching the dragon rising altar, the remaining warriors couldn't hold back any longer. They all used their body skills and rushed towards the rising dragon altar, all wanting to rush to the rising dragon altar as soon as possible and take those treasures for themselves. That Zhang Chuhei was the quickest to see the opportunity, and with a twist of his body, he rushed a distance of more than 10 feet. Far ahead, his eyes stared at the exercise book on the dragon altar, and at the same time he swung his big hand forward. A secret treasure in the shape of a rope swims out from the cuff, and rolls straight towards the skill that is dozens of feet away. Young Master Zhang. Someone turned pale with shock upon seeing this. Ha 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 ha. Zhang Chuhei laughed loudly, as if he saw the invincible appearance of the world after he practiced the exercise, and his arrogance was completely revealed. The treasure is for those who are capable. This exercise, belongs to Zhang. As soon as he finished speaking, the smile on his face suddenly froze. Staring blankly at his rope secret treasure, he lost his voice and said, "How could this be?" His rope secret treasure was less than 3 feet forward, but it fell limply, as if he had lost his spirituality. No matter how he pushed the power, the hand pinch method still couldn't be used. Not only him, but other people who wanted to use their own secret treasures to obtain the treasures on the Ascension Dragon altar, all lost their spiritual connection with their own secret treasures in a very short period of time. While Zhang Chuhei was in a daze, it seemed as if a huge force struck him in the sky, forcing him to hit the ground, covered in dust, and there was mud in his mouth and nose. Ha 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 ha, Mr. Zhang, you are really good at practicing this trick of eating shit like a dog. I admire you. The warrior before laughed and rushed directly in front of Zhang Chuhei, and did not forget to sneer before leaving. Damn it, I remember you. Zhang Chuhei stood up in disgrace, and cursed. Looking around, all the martial artists who wanted to fly into the dragon altar around them all encountered the same situation as themselves. They all fell from the sky, and their falls were terrible. This discovery brought Zhang Chuhei's heart into a lot of balance. In an instant, everyone understood that if they wanted to obtain the treasure, they had to rely on themselves and rush to the side of the Ascension Dragon altar to have a chance. But this is definitely not an easy task. The distance was far enough before, and everyone didn't feel anything, but the closer they got to the rising dragon altar, the more ferocious the inexplicable coercion that rushed towards them. In the eyes of all warriors, the entire rising dragon altar seemed to be transformed into an ancient evil dragon, ferocious. Roaring, opening his bloody mouth wide, waiting for the food to arrive. Some warriors with weak minds, weak wills, or low strength lost their minds for a while, and froze in place, their eyes filled with fear, and their bodies trembled violently. And some other people, even if they can resist the terrifying dragon's power, they still struggle, and they can no longer run as fast as before. On the other side, a group of people from the Qin family still surrounded Qin Yu, and under Qin Yu's instructions, they approached the rising dragon altar in a leisurely manner. Qin Yu coughed a few times from time to time, with a leisurely expression, but the other warriors of the Qin family showed anxious expressions, fearing that others would get the upper hand. Don't worry, Qin Yu managed to take a breath, and said softly, "Ascension to the dragon altar is not so easy to get close to. You can take this opportunity to feel the power of the ancient real dragon. It has a great effect on tempering one's mind. If you get something, you won't be too embarrassed when you meet a strong enemy in the future." Although Qin Yu only has the cultivation base of the second level of returning to the void, she seems to have great prestige among this group of Qin family guards. Once she said this, those guards really stopped being impatient, but silently. The method of movement of the mind, to drive away the distracting thoughts in the heart, while guarding Qin Yu and walking slowly forward, while tempering the mind with the help of Longwei. Suddenly, Qin Yu frowned and glanced in a certain direction. Over there, Yang Kai grinned at her, with an old god on his face, walking forward leisurely. This person, Qin Yu looked deeply at Yang Kai's back, and found that he, who had always been accurate in seeing people, couldn't see through him. He was not in the slightest eager for the treasures on the ascending dragon altar. When others were fighting for them with all their strength, he seemed to be walking in the garden. The old god was there, and he was extremely at ease. Qin Yu shook his head secretly, lowered his eyes, and when he raised his head again, a strange light flashed in his beautiful eyes, shining like stars. At the same time, Yang Kai's whole body tightened, as if in the dark, there was a pair of eyes that could see through the secrets of heaven, and he was spying on his secrets. He turned his head abruptly, meeting Qin Yu's eyes. Suddenly, Qin Yu's tender body trembled and coughed violently. "Miss." The guards were shocked. Qin Yu waved her hands again and again, bent her waist, covered her mouth with a silk scarf, and coughed extremely hard, and it took her a while before she gradually recovered. "It's okay." Qin Yu panted heavily, and when he looked up at where Yang Kai was before, he found that Yang Kai had long since disappeared, and he couldn't help sighing. "This chick is very weird." At the same time, Yang Kai, who was in the crowd, frowned tightly. He always felt that the woman named Qin Yu was extraordinary, but the cultivation level of the other party was only a mere second-level void return, which really puzzled him. Especially when Qin Yu looked at him just now, as if he could see his secret, Yang Kai couldn't help but feel a little creepy. In the future, if it is not necessary, it is better to have less contact with this woman. Yang Kai secretly made up his mind, otherwise he would not know when the secret was leaked. Wada-a! At this moment, a scream came out. A martial artist who had long been intimidated by Longwei and lost his mind stood on the spot, screaming, his eyes trembling, as if he had seen something extremely terrifying. He ran away in chaos and made moves in all directions. But just a moment later, with a sound of hitting the ground, the man's head burst open, red and white matter splashed in all directions, and the headless corpse fell limply, looking horrible. This startled the warriors nearby. "This is not over yet. The death of this person is like a fuse." The next moment, one after another screams, transmitted from different positions. The encounters of those people are similar to the appearance of the first warrior. They are all in the middle of a nightmare in the middle. The power was violent, and he made a few random moves, and his head burst into pieces. "Longwei is oppressive," someone in the crowd shouted in horror. Everyone understood how these people were killed, obviously because they were oppressed by the Supreme Dragon's power, and then encountered an accident. For a while, some warriors who were timid and low in strength no longer dared to move forward, but all retreated back in order to protect themselves. But just as their bodies moved, countless streaks of profound light suddenly shot out from the Ascension Dragon altar, accompanied by hissing sounds. Everyone was shocked. What people didn't expect was that those mysterious lights did not kill aimlessly, but only attacked those warriors who flinched, without any failure, without exception. In the blink of an eye, there were more than 30 corpses on the ground. To be continued. This text is provided by the Breaking Dawn update group at AC ± a degree a diaresis T. If you like this work, you are welcome to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1998 Sneak Attack. The sudden scene stunned everyone on the spot. After a while, someone suddenly shouted, "You can't retreat. If you retreat, you will touch the restraint, and you will die on the spot. Be careful. Damn it, this is a trap. Goddamn Star God Palace. What should I do?" Many people who are not of high strength and who covet treasures are now in a dilemma, and they actually blame the Xingshan Palace, as if this is a trap set by the Xingshan Palace against them. Now in this situation, the more you move forward, the more ferocious the pressure of Longwei you have to bear. If you are not careful, you will die violently. The warriors who died tragically before are the best examples. Unable to retreat, the more than 30 corpses that just fell were a lesson from the past. After doing this, some warriors really couldn't advance or retreat, and they froze in place for a while. But after all, not all of them, those who were really capable and confident in themselves, still resisting the oppression of Longwei, walked towards the Dragon Rising altar step by step, and fixed their eyes on the dozen or so people placed on the altar. An unknown thing, each step seems to be extremely difficult, but after taking that step, his face is full of joy, as if he has gained something. Wealth and wealth are sought in danger, this is the truth that everyone knows. Among the warriors here, who has not experienced a lot of life and death, most of them are extremely resolute. What's more, not to mention whether they can snatch the dozen or so unknown treasures, these warriors are ecstatic just because of the benefits they get in the process of going to the Ascension Dragon altar. Every time they take a step, those warriors can feel that their hearts and perseverance have increased a lot, and even, under the pressure of the Supreme Dragon power, the power in many virtual kings is rapidly transforming towards the source power. The speed of this transformation is by no means comparable to taking Yuan Ning pill. Yang Kai naturally discovered this too. In fact, he can completely ignore the oppression of the dragon power from the rising dragon altar. After all, he has the original power of the golden saint dragon in his body. This kind of oppression of Longwei still can't play the slightest role. It is rumored that in ancient times, there were countless members of the true dragon clan, but among this clan, the level suppression of bloodlines was very obvious. Jin Shenglong has a very high status among the real dragon clan. And judging from the vision that appeared in the dragon rising altar before, the keel that built the rising dragon altar may be the bone of a fire dragon, because the phantom of the real dragon that appeared was a huge red dragon. Red dragons generally use fire power. The original power of Jin Shenglong is enough to completely suppress the Longwei from the rising dragon altar, making it impossible for him to get close to Yang Kai. When Yang Kai discovered this, he even had the idea of rushing over to snatch the dozen or so treasures on the altar in spite of everything. But thinking about it carefully, he was not so rash. After all, there are hundreds of Void King realm fighters here, let alone whether I can escape the pursuit and siege of these people after robbing the treasure. Even if I succeed, I am afraid it will be troublesome after leaving the five-color pagoda. Once people outside know that he has received so many benefits from the ascending dragon altar, he will probably become the target of public criticism. Everyone is innocent and guilty. Yang Kai doesn't believe that those Daoyuanjing will not covet the treasures from the rising dragon altar. If they really want to be stared at by Daoyuanjing, the future life will not be easy. So he didn't do that. At this moment, he was among the crowd, approaching the ascending dragon altar step by step, relying on the oppression of the supreme dragon power to transform the source power in his body, while still leisurely observing the surroundings to see the situation of other people. Not long after, many powerful Void King realm warriors were silently remembered by Yang Kai. These people are undoubtedly the existence of completely transformed source power. When they resist the oppression of Longwei, it is much easier than others, so the speed of advancement is also faster, and they have already opened a certain distance from the people behind. Yang Kai sped up his pace a little while thinking in his mind how to pack those treasures away without anyone noticing. Just when he was deep in thought, a voice gnashing his teeth came from the side. "How dare you surpass me, die!" As soon as the word, death, was uttered, a palm print came towards Yang Kai. In the palm print, there was a howling and sharp wind, which seemed to contain great destructive power. Yang Kai's face sank, and he raised his hand instantly, pouring powerful force into his palm, and slapped the opponent's palm print. Snappy-da-a! There was a soft sound, and then, two violent forces collided together, sweeping all directions with great power. Yang Kai's body shook slightly, and then there was no movement, but the person who took the initiative to attack him screamed, as if he couldn't resist Yang Kai's attack. His body became unstable, and he was about to fly back. The man's complexion changed drastically, and he was instantly pale and bloodless. After all, those warriors who retreated before were all killed by the mysterious light shot out from the ascending dragon altar on the spot, and he was not sure whether he would be treated the same if he was beaten back. If that's the case, he doesn't have the confidence to resist the attack from the rising dragon altar. As soon as he thought of this, he gritted his teeth, and his body sank down suddenly, as if he was fixed on the ground like a wooden stake. He would rather let all the strength rush into his body than dare to move his feet. Clap clap. There was a burst of explosion sound from the person's body, his face turned pale, blood overflowed from his mouth and nose, and his appearance suddenly became ferocious. "Young master," someone shouted, stepped forward 2 steps quickly, pressed against the man's back, dispelled the last bit of strength, and finally made him stand firmly on the spot without taking half a step back. Yang Kai looked back suspiciously, seeing a familiar face, he couldn't help sneering, "So it's young Master Zhang." The person who attacked him unexpectedly was Zhang Chuhei, who spoke before. When Yang Kai saw him for the first time just now, he still felt that this person was handsome and gentle, but he had the demeanor and bearing of a son-in-law. But later, after understanding Zhang Chuhei's intention to divert his attention to Qin Yu, Yang Kai understood that this person was full of bad things. At this moment, it seemed that he was not only full of bad things, but also not enough to accommodate others. He is simply a detestable idiot. The reason why he attacked himself was because his speed was faster than him and surpassed him. "Who are you?" Zhang Chuhei suffered a big loss and was almost killed. While hating Yang Kai in his heart, he was extremely afraid. He didn't expect that he couldn't even catch a single move in front of a Void King realm warrior. And the situation just now was just a random blow from the opponent. If it was really a life and death fight, wouldn't he be an opponent at all? Is this fucking human? Zhang Chuhei was frightened. When did Fenglan City have such a number one figure again? Ask me. Yang Kai grinned, the left and right are just people that Mr. Zhang can't afford to provoke. Seeing Yang Kai speak so boldly, Zhang Chuhei showed an expression of disbelief, but after thinking about it, the other party might come from some powerful force. After all, Fenglan City has gathered a lot of powerhouses during this time. Thinking of this, Zhang Chuhei couldn't help flickering, clasped his fists and said, "It was Zhang who offended me just now, don't blame me. It's still a bit self-aware, let's save your life first." Yang Kai smiled coldly, turned around and continued to move forward without entanglement with Zhang Chuhei. Zhang Chuhei stared at his back, his face turning blue and turning red, trying to suppress his injury while resisting the Supreme Dragon's might. It was extremely hard for a while. At the back of the crowd, Qin Yu walked slowly with her many guards. After all, her strength was really not high, and she couldn't move forward as quickly as the others. But it was precisely because of this that he could see the scene just now. What is this person? Qin Yu Dai frowned. As a martial artist in Fenglan City, Qin Yu naturally knew what kind of cultivation Zhang Chuhei was. Although Zhang Chuhei's aptitude was not very powerful, but with the Zhang family's resources poured into him, coupled with so many years of hard training, he was not a person. He has already reached the peak of the Void King's third-layer realm, and all his strength has been transformed into source power. In other words, even if Zhang Chuhei is not an invincible existence in the Void King realm, he cannot be injured by a single blow. But someone did it. While this surprised Qin Yu, he became more interested in Yang Kai. "Miss Xiao, what's wrong with that person?" Seeing Qin Yu staring at Yang Kai, a guard couldn't help asking. "Have any of you seen that person and know his origin?" Qin Yu asked softly. All the guards kept shaking their heads, expressing that they had never seen Yang Kai before. The guard who spoke before said, "If Miss wants to know, after the 5-color pagoda is out, the subordinates will ask people to inquire." Qin Yu nodded. "Remember, just inquire, don't offend him." "Yes. ... Near the rising dragon altar, with the passage of time, the strength gap among the people gradually became apparent. Although everyone was basically at the Void King realm, and even many of them were at the Void King level 3, but at the rising dragon altar, the touchstone under the circumstances, the strengths and weaknesses of each other were quickly compared. Those who have superior character, perseverance, and strength will undoubtedly go faster and farther. The rest are left behind. For a time, with the rising dragon altar as the center, countless warriors were divided into several levels, and they all tried their best to move closer to the center. And in the first level, there are more than 40 Void King third-level powerhouses, and the gap between them is not too big. It can be predicted that if there is no accident, these 40 powerhouses will undoubtedly he will be the first to arrive at the ascending dragon altar. As for the warriors of the second level, the third level, and even later, there is no hope. But they didn't dare to retreat at will, causing death, so they could only bite the bullet and move forward. During this period, more and more warriors died suddenly because they could not bear the oppression of the dragon's power. Within a radius of several tens of feet of the rising dragon altar, there were 100 or 200 headless corpses scattered all over the place, which looked horrible. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to read. Chapter 1999 Soul-Slaying Knife. Chapter 1999, Soul-Slaying Knife. The short 100-foot road leading to the location of the ascending dragon altar has become the burial place for countless Void King realm warriors. Half an hour later, the dozens of fighters at the first level were less than 10 feet away from the ascending dragon altar. At such a close distance, the dozen or so treasures placed on the altar could be clearly seen. For a moment, no matter what their backgrounds were, their breathing became short of breath. But there are only a dozen treasures, but there are as many as 40 warriors who arrived nearby. No matter how they are calculated, it is impossible to divide them equally, and most of the warriors are bound to return empty-handed. Everyone obviously noticed this too, so after approaching the rising dragon altar 10 feet away, everyone secretly raised their strength, and inexplicable hostility was crazily growing in their eyes. Suddenly, there was a sound of piercing through the air, and the energy of the heavens and the earth was in chaos, and a golden arrow flew out at an extremely fast speed, attacking a burly man. "Damn it, I knew you were going to attack me a long time ago, so you finally couldn't help but do it." The burly man seemed to have been prepared for a long time. When he saw the enemy around him making a move, he immediately stretched out his hand in front of him. A prismatic blue-green shield suddenly appeared in front of him, blocking most of his body behind. Bump A. There was a loud noise, and although the golden arrow was powerful, it was still stopped by the burly man who had been on guard for a long time. Seeing this situation, the person who launched the sneak attack couldn't help being stunned. But the burly man let out a sinister grin, retracted his shield with lightning speed, clenched his fists tightly, and the source force surged from his fists. He suddenly shot at the enemy, and shouted loudly, "Overlord Holy Fist." This is obviously a powerful secret technique. The moment the fist is released, there is a trace of artistic conception permeating it. It can be seen that this burly man has already touched the threshold of Daoyuan. Maybe he is only one step away from being able to promote it to the level of Daoyuanjing. In the wind of the fist, there was an aura of dominance and domination of the world, which caused the expression of the warrior who had made a sneak attack before to change. He turned around in a hurry, and at the same time stretched out his hand to grab it in the void. The handle was about 3 feet long. His Qingfeng sharp sword suddenly appeared in the palm of his hand. He flicked on the edge of the sword with his fingers, and the source force poured into the long sword. His expression suddenly became solemn. "Shui Yu Jinghua," he murmured in a low voice. The long sword melted into a half circle in the midair, and in the void, a mirror surface composed of sword light suddenly appeared. The light can tell people. The Overlord Fist arrived as expected, but it was completely blocked by the sword light mirror. The Void King realm domains of the two people came out at the same time, fiercely suppressing each other. Click. It seemed that even the space couldn't bear such a violent force collision, and a tiny crack appeared at that moment. Okay, I finally met a decent guy, happy. Seeing this, the burly man, instead of being surprised, laughed out loud, with an extremely rampant expression. On the contrary, it was his opponent who secretly complained. He didn't expect that he just attacked a person at random and wanted to cut off the competitor in advance, but he met such a lunatic. In desperation, he had no choice but to bite the bullet and fight. The battle between the two had just erupted, and the more than 40 warriors of the first level seemed to be half of the agreement, and they all took action. However, they did not approach the rising dragon altar, but shot one after another, killing the warrior closest to them. In an instant, there was chaos near the Ascension Dragon altar. The surprise attack and the surprise attack were staged one after another. Often a martial artist has just started to sneak attack on his target, but is counterattacked by another martial artist, and has to grit his teeth and fight 2 against 1. There are those who fight alone, there are those who fight in melee, and there are those who join forces to eliminate the enemy. These elite Void King realm powerhouses who belong to Fengalan City seem to have become each other's enemies at this moment, and they became jealous after a while, and the brilliance of martial arts and secret treasures bloomed together, extremely dazzling. The warriors of the backward 2nd level and 3rd level were stunned for a moment. But soon, they were pleasantly surprised. Because in this way, they may still have a chance to obtain the treasures on the ascending dragon altar. At the moment, all of them were silent and marched forward with all their strength. But they obviously thought too simple. The warriors of the 1st level were indeed fighting, but if any latecomers approached, these guys would give up attacking their opponents by coincidence, and join forces to instantly kill the latter. It seems that in their view, only the 1st level fighters are the real competitors, and the latecomers are just a bunch of jumping clowns. How can they have any qualifications to get their hands on treasures? After 20 or 30 latecomers died one after another, the warriors of the 2nd level finally saw the situation clearly and did not dare to approach at will. Yang Kai was lagging behind among the warriors of the 2nd level. Seeing this scene, he couldn't help frowning secretly. If he wanted to get close to the rising dragon altar at this time, he would definitely be attacked by the warriors of the 1st level and become the target of public criticism, but if he didn't get close, he would not be able to obtain the treasures on the rising dragon altar. When he thought of this, he couldn't help but let out a cold voice, and shouted, "The treasures are destined to live in them, and you are so domineering, you don't take people seriously. Friends, if you want to fish into the Dragon's Gate, come with me." Superior. After saying that, led by example, and was the first to rush forward. Originally, the warriors of the 2nd level were not willing to be stopped in place, but now when they heard Yang Kai shouting about the fish jumping over the Dragon's Gate, and then recalled what Qin Yu said before, all of them were filled with righteous indignation and responded to Yang Kai's call. 5 groups gathered together and moved forward with fierce eyes. Stinky boy with a sharp mouth, let you die first. Soon, the 2 strong men in front of Yang Kai stared at him. These two powerhouses were fighting with each other fiercely, but once they heard what Yang Kai said, they all took him as the target. Since the two can be at the first level, they are obviously elites in the Void King realm. Together, even if they lose to the Daoyuan realm, it is by no means that the Void King realm of the same level can resist. One person sacrificed a large axe, and slashed at Yang Kai head-on. A brilliance flashed on the axe, and the huge axe mark fell like a meteorite, unstoppable. The other person reached out and slapped a small clock in his hand. Every time he slapped, his face became more serious, and the clock made strange sounds, converging into an invisible impact, and rolled towards Yang. Yang Kai's expression was stern, and he didn't dare to be careless. His strength frantically circulated, and he turned his hand, holding a big knife. He drove the big knife with his divine sense, and slashed at one of them from a distance. The brilliance flashed across the broadsword, and the silent attack rushed straight into the man's sea of AA consciousness, immediately tore up the defense of the man's consciousness, and smashed into the sea of AA consciousness. In this person's sea of AA consciousness, suddenly a storm surged up. It seemed that there was a huge force that split his sea of AA consciousness into two, and rolled up a huge wave. The huge wave did not fall, but evaporated strangely in the midair. The sea of AA consciousness is the source of the soul of a warrior, and if the seawater in the sea of AA consciousness evaporates, the soul will inevitably be damaged. This person seemed to be bitten by lightning, and the whole person suddenly froze in place, his eyes trembling, filled with horror, staring at Yang Kai in a daze. There was a hoot in his mouth, but he couldn't say a word. The next moment, the man's neck twisted, and he fell to the ground and died. What? The other person turned pale with shock, and looked at his previous opponent in disbelief. He is very clear about how difficult this opponent is. The two of them fought against each other just now, but now, they were killed by a warrior who was also in the Void King realm. The Void King realm definitely doesn't have this ability, so the reason lies in that big sword. What level of secret treasure is this? Just as he was in a daze, Yang Kai had already swayed, avoiding the joint attack of him and another person, approaching him with a smirk, and raising the big knife in his hand again. Until now, this person realized that there was something strange about this big knife. The blade was actually emitting a dark light, and it seemed that there was an inexplicable force pulling his soul. As if looking at it one more time, his soul would be cut open. He felt a dull pain, and in great shock, he quickly looked away. Soul-slashing knife. The Emperor's treasure that belongs to the Insect Emperor. After Yang Kai killed the Insect Emperor, he found two Emperor treasures from him. One was the Slave Insect Bracelet, and the other was the Soul Slayer Knife. However, the power of the two Emperor treasures was too powerful, and Yang Kai was not strong at the time, so he couldn't refine them at all, so he had to put them aside. After several adventures, the Slave Insect Bracelet played some roles. For example, in the Lost Land, it expelled the attack of the Phantom Butterfly, and under the ice cliff of the Jade Feather sect, it deterred the mother body of the monster insect, allowing Yang Kai to subdue it. With these experiences, Yang Kai realized the importance of the Emperor treasure, and only then began to try to refine the soul-slaying knife in his spare time. Although he spent a lot of energy and time, he still couldn't completely refine the soul-slashing knife. Even if he used it, he could only display its superficial power. All power. But, Dabao is Dabao after all. Even if it is only superficial, it is definitely not something that the Void King realm can resist. In particular, the power of the soul-slashing knife is extremely peculiar. With divine sense to control it, it only cuts the soul and does not hurt the flesh and blood, so it is extremely difficult to guard against. To some extent, the soul-slashing knife can be regarded as a divine soul treasure. The rarity is even rarer than defensive treasures. And Yang Kai's divine sense is extremely powerful. How can the Void King of the same level parry the enemy with the Soul Slayer saber? After a face-to-face encounter, the enemy was shattered and died on the spot. Yang Kai also did it on purpose, and now the warriors of the first level seem to have an invisible consensus, that is, to prevent the warriors of the second level from approaching the Rising Dragon altar. If he wants to deter the enemy, he can only use thunder to kill them first. Let's talk about a few more. By killing chickens and monkeys like this, I believe no one will dare to stop him anymore. Sure enough, when that person died, the other person saw Yang Kai raise the Soul Slayer knife again, and the black light on the blade body was flowing, and he was so shocked that he instinctively retreated back. This retreat immediately touched the ban on the Rising Dragon altar. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to vote for recommendations and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile phone users, please go to read.